division. Like, are they going to be a top team? I just don't see it yet from S2G. I want them to be, and I've got the back of the Turkish teams. I think they're great. They've just not been able to perform, especially through the phases, and especially what I've seen in the scrims.
Of course, we've got construction workers being able to make their way in what was an interesting fashion towards the end of the playoffs there, Martin. What do you think for construction workers? Because I feel like they have to be a bit more solid across multiple games as opposed to have an explosive single game that would then get you into the finals. What do you think?
I mean, that was some of the most exciting watch we've had for a long time, so I'm all for it, to be honest. But they're a team that so yeah, I think the mentality is their biggest hindrance here for PEC Spring.
Any thoughts, Mark?
Yeah, I agree. Like, we've not seen them in the scrims. I think there's a question of they're playing for fun. And fun and competitive don't always go together, right? You can't get fun out of being competitive if you're successful, but sometimes that additional grind and putting those additional hours in actually does make the difference between a top tier team and a medium tier team. Back to Martin's point, they've got years of experience, so yes, they had an explosive game, yes, they qualified, yes, if they have explosive games again through the finals, they should be a contender. But I feel like they've let us down coming into, I suppose, this section, I suppose, phase number 1 as well, because they came in with the high expectations they were going to qualify. They looked good in the cups. They looked really strong in the cups because I think there was fun to it. When it got serious, when we introduced the regional partner teams and the global partner teams, they couldn't quite get in the momentum that they wanted to, and they struggled. I want to see him up there. I back the guys. I think Fahad, Vex, really good guys. Got to meet him at PNC last year.
Yeah.
I want them to qualify, but they've got to put their serious hat to be able to deliver.
I mean, someone like Vex, it's undisputed, right? If you look at the World Championship appearances someone like him has had, that's actually one of the most consistent EMEA members of all time in World Championships. Like, constant like 5th places, 6th places, 7th places, things like that at multiple World Championships. So very impressive indeed. But yeah, things need to string together. Things need to look a bit better. And things that have looked better for the likes of PGG, Martin, of course, as in the last finals, I think, honestly, I was impressed by them. Their road here once again to this final, I was impressed by them. I want to see a third impressed Kalaris by them here in this final. What do you think?
I think the last day held them back at the last finals. I think that was the big struggle. Maybe it was the nerves. Maybe they didn't really come together as we kind of expected them to. But yeah, they impressed me. And also being able to back-to-back playoff weeks to qualify on the first day that they were in. That was insane. Like, the only team to do it like that, I think, in coming in on second. So yeah, the second day. So that's cool. I think PGG again is a roster that has that opportunity with S8UL now out. A top 3, top 4 maybe, if they're really lucky, could put them into a potential PGS or Esports World Cup spot.
Yeah, definitely could.
PGG, though, have that ability to really balance. They're really good at getting placements. They always find themselves in kind of a top 8. There's like one game I think last week they were outside of, and they kind of get a handful of kills with it as well. So they're kind of the dark horse. You don't always focus on them, like, 'cause they're not as explosive as some of the other teams, but that level of consistency keeps them in the conversation, especially when it comes down to a leaderboard. So I expect good things from here because they need to put additional PGC points against their name.
Yeah, in fact, I think they got like, I think it was like 62 points or something in the first qualification and then 65 points in their second one or something. So to be able to outdo yourselves in a quality lobby, suffice to say, right, is very, very good stuff. 41 PGC points right now. They need a little bit more of a bump up for sure, right? Because you've still got the likes of Ascend and Vitality above you here, Martin, that are also very much so keen for these points, keen to be able to qualify onto these next tournaments, right? Vitality, yes, you're already at PGS2 circuit that is coming up, but they're still vying for the opportunity to be playing at the next ones as well. And we've already mentioned ad nauseum what Vitality wants for EWC, because they're one of the only teams that's actually going to be able to rival Falcons once that actually comes down.
Right. In my book here, PGD needs a 4th without any of the other guys ahead of them getting top 3.
Okay,
that's their way in, right? And or 3rd, depending on how many other points the other guys are getting. So, yeah, we'll see. But I think that's possible. I think that's totally possible, especially if we get the same kind of stir where we, by the mid of second day, we get a 2-horse race where Remember how close it was last time? We were talking like there's 2 or 3 ties, and they're all like there's 9 teams within 9 points. Like it was so tight, so close. And if you strike luck a little bit, and also staying consistent in that top 8 placement, making sure you get those placement points, and also
Bukvalno sam braćo džabe trčao, ljudi nisu ni počeli. Bam ti igrić. Znači, imamo li pop nekoga? Znači, ništa vidio nisam. Jel znate ima li pop joge ili neko?
So deep that I feel like 10 or 12 of these teams here could go out and get a top 3. I think it's very unlikely we don't see the other teams that we had last week in top 3.
For me, I feel like Nemesis, if they play the way they should be playing, aside from, okay, yes, they had to go to the final day of the playoffs, Mark, of course, but then they looked like what Nemesis is able to do. I feel like they're almost a shoo-in. I feel like it's like, who is going to be that next name to be able to kind of take some of those top spots to be able to move on to EWC? Because the way in which Nemesis should be playing this finals is the way I want to see them having played that day number 3 of the playoffs. Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Don't make me go fanboy and go put the jersey back on.
Oh, no, he's going to get the push out,
They've got the flashy behind us. Got the flashy behind. I was actually quite shocked this regional qualifier. You look at them, they're the top tier team, like we see it again, everyone here is, right? But they should have qualified day number 1.
Why didn't they?
Then I was going, are they just trying to do the whole 3 days and get the practice in? No, I think they really struggled. They couldn't get kind of momentum. They're getting closed up by teams. We know they like to play an edge. They try to push into the center. They got closed out. They were fighting for space, and they should be fighting their 1 versus 1s, and they wasn't.
Kažu 6 počinje prvi meč, nama počinju 17:45, ali očito i oni kasne.
Was it a lower quality compared to day number 1?
Da li ima Virtus
SAUL there, and yes, they did shine.
Kako ide Lukin?
They gotta have a lesson learned from last week. Like, they cannot be leaving it to the last day.
Macario X. Neki
imposter. I think it's not just the week. I think also even that last game was a little bit telling, even though it was in the day where they dominated, right, Martin? So if I can call where they're going to be moving on a rotation in a circle like that, that means a lot of the teams that are kind of studying these other teams can also call where a team like that is going to move, right? And we even saw that in that game, right? So there's some moments where I feel like these teams, you might be phenomenal. You might be one of the best teams in the world, but you've still got to maybe adjust things slightly to be able to kind of subvert the opponent's expectations in some of these games, no?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there's a chance they tied to get out of the 5th place and 2nd place. They should dominate still that.
For sure. All right, well, let's get to it then. Massive ramifications for our next 3 days for all of these teams trying to qualify on to Esports World Cup, to try and qualify on to PGS Circuit 3 and 4. This is the first game. This is the foundation. We'll get Mark afterwards. It's going to be me and Avenger bringing you game number 1 of the PEC Finals. Let's do it, Avenger.
PEC Finals.
Yeah, let's get it kicked off. And James already say now here, we are starting south. We're flying over the military island.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm going to say. It's going to probably be a military game, or at least have some water in that southern side. Or, you know what, the classic style bending. I'll have that too.
Jogi esports već vidim.
Maybe. Or we get that east circle that I was talking about just for Nemesis's rotations, right? So we'll see. We will see. It looks like some of the colors are we're used to these colours compared to what we saw on the last day of the playoff. That was throwing me for a loop. But here we are, as all of these teams descend onto the first game of Erangel. Man, I am buzzing to get these games going. I've been waiting for this all week, considering how much is on the line for some of the teams. I think some are... What?
There's no way that. That's a Virtus winning everything. Just give it to them already, James. Look at that. That's a crazy circle. I don't know if I'm going to pull out ChatGPT to kind of analyze how much that is. That's at least 70% water. And also, like, this next circle is also going to have so much water inside still, unless we get the perfect east shift on the military side. But yeah, I completely agree. As you said here, waiting all week for this day to start here. When you gave the intro, James, I was like,
Virtus smeška, braćo moja, Joga
this is just so exciting. This is so crucial for all these players to come in here. And as I said, career-defining chances to come in. And potentially, you know, if you're not signed right now, you could get in and get some big points on PGC. Maybe even get an Esports World Cup slot. And if you're not signed, I bet you there's going to be rolling in with big offers to get things rolling.
No, 100%. You're hitting the rock. Okay, well, okay, so, yes, insane circle. Virtus Pro, you absolute buffoons. But it's fine. They're going to get running. Yeah, as you say, like, this is basically a home circle for them, for considering the situation. They're moving on over towards the west side of Military Island to get things going. They're a team that is basically defending a championship spot right now, be it PGS3, be it PEC Week 1, or Week 2, even I should say, and already very rapid on their movement from where they were dropping towards Ferry Pier. So they understand the stakes of a circle like this, that's for sure.
Pozdrav Dixter, pozdrav ljudi.
This is something they need to get up and set up, especially with the knowing the teams that are already
da krenu
military
jedna I
also
druga
going to
ekipa.
take
Virtus ima
high
poklon,
priority locations. Luckily, they're going to get out of cars or get picked up there, so that's fine. Storm request, though. Huge to see these guys in here, James. I'm kind of stoked for these guys, but I don't feel like these guys are going to come in and contend for the championship of the final week. But they could come in and ruffle their feathers a little bit and have a chance at getting some PGC points.
They definitely come in as one of the teams that people are looking at as a potential feeder team, right? And of course, they're going to have to completely negate that image from a lobby like this. Bushido Wildcats already coming in with an emergency pickup. Love an early emergency pickup on something like this if you can lock down one of the compounds early. Hell, you could have even probably gone to the North Road on Sosnovka Island here and got some vehicles because of the way in which all teams actually dropped. I like that Navi is using the boat for a bit of cover here as well. That's huge. That is very, very nicely done. So everybody's finding their own way over slowly here, Martin.
Kao da cijeli, ali ne mogu iznervirati, ljudi iznervirati se već. Znači, Lee kaže, kao Navi koristi ovo da se sakriju, cijeli lobby zna. Pa jebote ovo Hakatori radi u kojoj god ekipi igrao. Na ovu zonu prolaze brodom. I na kraju dana, koji bre info tebi treba za šta? Prva je zona, jedno Tito i Jolanka mogu da ga spotaju. Kakvi retardi jebote životom. Samo da nešto kažu. Znate da su koristili brod u četvrtoj zoni, ja bio zona Ubera, ti kod 200 playera. On koriste u prvoj zoni, ovi oduševljeni.
Coming in from like a meta and strategic perspective from this game here, this is where the information and knowledge you have on other teams' timings on their drop spots is so crucial because you know the kind of priority. Okay, you know that Virtus Pros, they're dropping this area, they're probably going to be across already, or they're camping, and if they're not, we can maybe take the ferry pier.
Generalno ta prva zona kad dobiješ centar kao cool je ono bolje nego da svan centra, jel? Ali ne znači sad to nešto previše može otići u 3 lijepe, jel? Ali ova zona, evo naši su emergency, top stari. Ali ova zona LG 70% vode, to vam je ko otprilike treća ono fazon. Druga, treća, ne znam. To je dosta bolje. Ode najlup, unlucky. Mogu spasi najlupa, jebo tako ubiju. Dobro, možemo ga ubiti. Ali hižjeba, brat. Dobro, rezać, što znači rezać u bojicu. Kako je Fex dobar, ne? Obišaj. PGG.
Talked about these two teams at the beginning of the day. PGG.
Nisam ovo vidio. Nino i Luka u akciji. Ide. Ajmo dečki, branite se. Bravo, kure. Bravo, kure, Doco. Bravo, Lule. Mora pomoć. Ajde, bili.
This is X-Howl being very aggressive on the 2-2 split, and Virtus Pro is being punished for it.
Yeah, and they're not coming in with the backup. Shots are coming in, the flushes are coming through as well, trying to just make sure that things can evolve rapidly to their advantage. Lukrook still not flush here. Odin gets Nixie though. It's a big player to take down early on. Shots come in from the side. Actually finds Odin here. That's huge.
Looking
and
for
also,
the
easy peasy. Might be able to get some points rolling out for this one. That's quick for them.
The thing is that Odin was the one that got X-Howl to this position.
Yes.
Day 3 of the playoffs, saving their bacon in that last game of the Erangel games was massive.
Ljudi, Joga uzela ovaj spot, može biti brutalno ako odu shiftovi na njihovu stranu. Ako ne odu shiftovi na njihovu stranu i dalje mogu da se fajtuju skroz gore do Heavena, ali poslije Heavena će biti problem. Ako bude vukla ka airport.
Kind of in the north side of this compound as well, so they're not going to be
Znači, ovaj nije sanje sreće. Postoji opcija gdje se ovi znalci mogu ugasiti, a da i dalje čujemo. Ma ne, postoji, zato što nemaš akses. Morao bi biti u igricu. Nema. Prve finalse Nemesis dobio 5-6 gamova zaredom shiftu i nisu odvojili na veću razliku. Da. Je li to Havl kika ono Floriza ili nemam pojma. Četvrčina mala Turska. Četvrčina mala Turska. Ali iskreno ne znam kako sam više pravo da vam kažem, pošto igra užasno. Svaki puka i ovaj Stajedi. To su vam dva igrača koja su banovana kod nas. Stajedi i Floriz. Ne zna se koji je gori. Imaju dobre timove i šlepaju ih. Tako da je vjerojatno ne haksaju sad, Boga pita.
He's going to come do an interview. His English is fantastic. He's a little bit concerned sometimes, but he's brilliant. So hopefully they finish in number 1 of the day, and then we get to talk to them about it. That'll be awesome, because I really want to talk to them about the day 3 of the playoffs more than anything.
Yeah, exactly. And even in 2023, I had an English interview with DivX where we did it at Esports World Cup. And their English is fine.
Ne znam da li tamo mogu da rezaju. Ne znam ko je flašan od Virtusa. Ste vidjeli ko je flašan od Virtusa? Ne znam da li mogu da ga revivaju. Ne znam da li ima rez tamo neće. Online, Dixter, online.
That they just wanted to play every single day, managing to get as many reps in before the finals. I love that idea. We always push this agenda on people,
online.
But no,
Ovdje ko bude top 2, ide na LAN. Naravno, top 2, ukoliko bude neko od GPT-a, ide onda 3. 4. Sve zavisi kako GPT budu igrali. Ovaj satak je kidalica, brate, ovaj mali sat.
Trying to botate in from there as well. So you'll be coming in behind teams on bridge, behind teams on potentially ferry, and behind teams on boat. But where are we going? This better be a good shift. It's okay for the teams. It's okay.
It's okay. I mean, it's a guaranteed military. Sure, there's still some water and play on the southern side.
Ali sviđa mi se što naš lik koji je plaćen, ne znam, $200 po danu da drži ovu mapu, mi ne vidimo mapu.
Is now taking some shots. They're more on the northern kind of side of things here, but they spread out quite evenly and easily here to manage to get some inside info. They look to be having a lot of info on
kakva je ovo zvijer od igrača.
And now with a member of Bushido Wildcats leaving, 2 of them might even leaving this compound here. They know
that Navi mi ne igra kao što sam očekivao da će igrati. Mislio sam da će ovo biti možda i najjači Navi.
Yeah, and Twisted Minds is currently bridge and has had diverted Nemesis while this has been going on.
Nešto, boga mi, neštima.
The inverted commas X-Kings of EMEA has a BRDM in game number 1.
BRDM.
So this is not what the rest of the lobby wants to see, because this is going to give Batulin so much room to do scouting. But still, there's still teams that need to cross. S2G is all in one boat. Sosa's going to have noticed that as he's flying over it, over on his left-hand side. So for the rest of these teams trying to get on in, Kovalevi is on the far end of that pier shooting at this.
That's crazy. There's going to be some naval warfare going on here, that's for sure. Baron already got some information off to the Virtus Pro guys. And obviously, the way that Virtus Pro set up to take some of the compounds on this western side here and kind of the outskirts of the military island actually sets up for quite some points if they manage to get some guys shot out of the boats here. So that's going to be cool. I do like the way that SVG gets in here. This beach is usually kind of contested because this is the only kind of safe spot that you come in from this area. So I'm surprised they're not worried about this. But look at this. Shipless, the last player of X-Howl, currently less than 10 HP, and it's blinking, James.
Beamy. Nixie nam je pao.
That's 10 damage per tick after you started your drowning.
That's what happens when you kick the bee's nest.
Ali dobro, Luka je živ. Bitno da neko od njih dvojice na nogama.
Sorry, Exhal. The one thing that I see as a vulnerability though for Virtus Pro Luka is completely alone on the south side compared to the 2-1 split. I know that they're wanting to control space, and I know of course that they have had one casualty, but if
ide kureksi, 3 kila kureksija.
That could be brutal. Shipless goes down.
Molim.
Exhal out in 15th place.
Kako su ovo reklame, brać, šta je ovo?
Because obviously it was down in 16th. And the rest of Virtus Pro is now on the move. Do they have any vehicles or something?
Čekaj, bote, zar nemam onaj uplaćen? What the fuck je ovo?
Tuže
Tuže gledam ove... Dira se ovuda, brate. Koji je ovo kurac?
Eventually, especially from
Kako
this
ja
location
nemam?
that Lewis and we saw some crazy
Ja imam
things
onaj
going on, especially with
premium.
how the meta is that you drive your car off the edge and try to not hit the rock.
Dobre,
To not flip, obviously, as we saw Virtus Pro do, but quite often you can hit, especially with the fast cars, you can actually fly over it. Yeah, all right, Storm request to get some mortar shots in. Let's see what happens with this one here. It's going at the direction of the granny that Salix is solo in.
Of the granny, minimum prolaze naši.
Was that intended to go to the granny? I don't know.
That was interesting.
Twist igralo. Dobro, koji je Twist bio prošlo? Brutalno. Ovo je... Dobro, nije najbolji, ali... Ovo nisam htio da gledam. Ode VP. Yoga Bonito too strong, guys. Yoga Bonito too strong.
Down and out for this game, taken down by Yoga Bonito, and Zizo actually also doing something here from Storm on request. They do have such a strong high ground position, and they're all reinforcing.
Ne mogu reći najbolji shift broj 3 za Jogu, ali odličan.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that they went for this check here. Maybe they think it was uncontested, not already taken here. But now we see SOG being pulled up into the sky here. They're also going to have an open area here. The compound
Lagani bait, brat.
Lukaruk's had is obviously close to the wall. That's why they decided to go away from it. But yeah, let's see what happens with this one here.
Slaki nema metaka, druže, ima sad.
That is spectacular stuff here. If SGG is able to make this kind of work, it's very rare you see kind of
SGG on fire, Ovo je baš opasno za koju god fight. Sramo su stali, što je stao ovaj? Kako prodaja sen. Ste vidjeli ovo, majke?
As now, the rest of Ascend on the move, who have technically come in underneath the hillside a little bit here. They could survive there for a little while as 3. It really depends on how much crunch down goes on. Because there's quite a bit of foliage cover on the trees there. They can survive unless they get shot out by a few of these teams.
druže.
Oh, this is still happening.
Yeah, it is. And Nemesis is really feeling this one difficult here. Oh, difficult. There we go.
Što je inače pogodio je perfektisa u petu. Eto, u prs, u mali prs lijeve noge.
Might be a good way to stop it, especially with Navi having spotted this already. James, this could be huge.
Eto Twisted, brate, ko je rekao? Ne znam. Kako izbio iz auta?
Also in a big fight. That's points that's open and up for grabs here. Kapi finds rocks. Scaff found the confirmation on Perfectix, by the way, but PewDiePie also finds the confirmation of the Schengen. And now, having had this Eastern kind of backfill rotation into this compound, it's actually paying off you.
Šta radi Michael SKS-om, ljudi. Niki Mamić ponosan.
I'll be having words with him later. That's disgusting. But anyway, they will find themselves a bit of an entry point here. That's a great start here for Yo. Who has had their trials that they've had to go through, right? Be it roster changes, be it, of course, a complete remake of a roster for James coming into the start of 2026. But now they're in the finals. They've got a few points on the board. They're moving on up. No slack. As I've said before, very edge-heavy play. They came in super late. They've not taken any casualties.
Gle bejta.
What was going on the bridge.
Bejta.
But now they might take casualties.
A bejta, ali ovo može proći loš.
Dobro,
izvukla se.
Scav is down. That's the IGL down at the moment.
Šta radi, dečki? Spyro. Ali Sata, ljudi, ali Sata je toliko dobar igrač.
Boostik's gonna charge up a nade, and he's always accurate with these nades. AXE.
To su ti novi klinci koji gaze nogama.
Can Sata somehow dislodge Boostik and get the rest of the team up? I don't think so.
Example gets the confirmation onto Sparrow here now.
Boostik protiv Sate.
Just a little bit to the side of it. The two other bled out quite
ne znam statistički da li su ovo dva najmlađa igrača.
And Sata to try to make something happen here. And Navi down to a 3-man. still a strong Na'Vi and a scary Na'Vi, especially considering the control that they have. Next circle did pop here. Ascent is sitting dead center. Sad times that they lost Keter, but
Znate šta je problem? Problem je ako ode dolje. To je problem, jer nemaju auta. Ali ono, znaš, ide fight ovdje. Ako vratiš shift nazad, dobri su do kraja, ja mislim. Mislim da jesu. Pa nije sad to nešto ni mlad, mislim da ima 21. Moguće, ne znam. Mislio sam da fazam da je ono 18 napunio tek. Ma da je sad ta novi, realno. Ja koliko znam, taj dečko igrao na Xboxu, valjda, do ove godine. Ili do prošle godine. Poprilično je novu isport. Možda godinama nije mlad, ali je tek se pojavio. Ali je dobar dečko, odigrao sam s njim 2 ili 3 puta skirmishes, baš je dobar, baš ovako i dobar lik i komunikacija mu je brutalna. Baš je dobar.
It's only phase 4, it's only 3 damage per second. And then the further away you get, the more it starts chunking. And the multiplier actually had a buff recently, so it's more damage. This is, I say 20? Recently, we're saying within the last 9 months. But it was a silent update that didn't get, like the info has not been shared with how much the multiplier is, so people can't really calculate unless they try, right? So it's a bit difficult.
Dobar mortar, iskreno dobar. 30 sekundi do shift. Od prošle godine krenuo igrati, da. Dobar.
And it's not been successful just yet. It's going to be up to Michael, really, to maybe something salvage go down. So, yeah, an odd one there by Lou. Bit of a miscalculation overall here, and that might actually cost them quite a bit. We'll see, as long as he can get maybe with example and Betulins. But for Levante and the boys trying to shut down the rest of Yo, I think Michael now. I wonder how much healing Michael's got left.
I ovo je najbolje kopat oko ovih stijena. To sam gledao vas, Dino. Ova ne valja za Jogu. Joga mora fajta jednu ekipu, pa onda imaju ovdje da igraju, ali moraju fajtati ovo. Znaš, ako ovo dobiju, ajde da kažemo možda i najbolja ekipa za fajtat. Ono, ako želite nekog fajta, to su ovi. Ali su vam problem ove ekipe, znaš, čim bude se desi fajt u lapać.
Too bold of a strategy because surely we're going to see someone try to backfill either Navi and Southern.
Jebena zona za Jogu, ali dobro, uzeli su već tu 2 poena. Izvuku 7-8 poena više.
But yeah, I think that
A Jesku je možda najlašija ekipa u lobiju. Ako ima loše, to je loša. Ali opet TPP imaju prednost terena, prednost kavera, ovi pistiće po krovima, težak posao. Moraju kristalni slaven da polude. Evo ga kristalni. Genijalno. Genijalno. Ukrali su im jedan kill. Samo da ne ukradu još jedan.
Push so far from Yoga Bonito, but they've lost, or at least Simon is down. They're going to have a few other teams maybe looking their way if they're not careful. They need to conclude this fast.
Dobrog nade, gledajte nade, savršen.
That's a great nade. Cooked a little bit too much though.
Ovo je dobro kako Tori pada, to je third party koji mogu da se desi, a gle Batulina je, Batulin se ušetu u kamp. Ovo je tank je meni.
SG's coming in from the backside of them. More shots are connecting here from Kristalny. Good connections on both of them. Twisted Minds also involved in this Storm and Request fight that's eventually happening here. A lot of
teško, ljudi, vidite koliko timova ovdje ima.
But the fact that Twisted Minds just decided, you know what, we'll insert ourselves within the middle of all of this, BRDM in hand, does cause some concern for these teams at the moment.
Ovaj na krovi mogu da ih usere, to je problem. A evo i Navi, pogledajte Navi, ono o čemu smo pričali, taj third party. Koliko ima? 1, 2, 3, 4 ekipe.
A lot of games been going down as well. Yoga Bonito has been very keen to be able to make some
way
našu
rupu, Saša Rupa Batulin. Stiđe našu rupu, user mali. A našo je bolju rupu na željeti. Ide Slaki. Ovo je dobro, ljudi. Pite Slavene i Kristalno ga deru guzove, to je GG. I Simon se upalio. Ajmo, dečaci. Ovdje najveći problem Navi, a niko nije svjestan Navija još. Evo, sad su svjesni Navija. Ubrao Simon, ali ga je Hakatori skinuo. Slaki Nagasaki. To je to, ljudi, 4-5 bodova uzimamo ovdje i to je to. Može li Slavni uzeti bod? A ne može. Dobre, 6 bodova smo uzeli. To je brutalno.
And Stormrequest surviving to the placement point is kind of surprising considering
Će izvući još koji, a šta misliš? Nodi nam je živ. Jebo, to će reza Slavena. Reza će, a? Ovaj solo. Bravo, Nodi! Bravo, doktore. 7 poena imaju rez. Imaju, a nemaju šta ih. Dobro, ljudi, 7 poena. Lagano. Lagano, 7 poena. Bravo, prije 7 poena, lagano, nisu imali zonu za win, nema šta zamjeri.
And then eventually the backfill, very important to give them some opportunity on that side. At the same time though, PGG moving in on that southwest side at the moment, so they might be wanting to try and find a little bit of an entry point here, but they're running to Ascend. Double nade from Chris and Kiliakai. Great things to be able to shut down PGG on their move. Another nade, doing huge damage, and it's Salix. He dropped it as he got knocked. Oh no, for PGG. Where are they going to go, Mark?
Pogodio ga, nije ni svjesno da ga je pogodio.
They're going to have to try to send it directly towards maybe T-Bone's location or some of the dips that's been created by the red zone. Kiliakai finds 50% here. Ascend looking really strong. Another shot down here from Ascend. Kiliakai gets 3 of them.
Dobar nade. Mislim je ovo nade šta Blue Zone. Da je bio nade, možda bi izginuo.
At the same time though, Martin, while all these fights continue on the west side, I feel like Vitality's getting this for free.
Vitality.
A hard north shift, which we can talk about how Bushido Wildcats emergency pickup got great cars, be able to take the spot super early in this game, but unless they get it, the shift, I think that they're trying to plan their move. You can see them all congregating on the south side of that compound there, understanding that they might need to make some desperate moves.
Actually, the way that Vitality played it with having someone out of the dips and the craters might have held someone off to take the Harry Potter. Currently open, currently available. So I kind of like that their greedy split, the kind of 4-way split even, paid off for them. And Hello My Bad still sitting inside the most central hardcover location. Let's see if that pays off here. Eventually, though, we're going to see S2G and Ascent fight a 3v3 fight as the Doritos fall from the sky, and they try to roll them down into them and take some of that damage from it. Oh my god, Vitality's absolutely slaying them with that. A lot of damage done already. Has to duck down from Quetpa.
Still good resilience to be able to hang on at the moment. Digging a hole, turtling up, getting themselves bunkered down here.
Ješti mene materu što se ova igrica pretvorila. Ovaj iskopao ispod kamena, nosi ga kući. Jebi ga, to je to onaj shift tamo, koji je to bio 5. shift, 4. shift. Ili ide gore na redline, na jogu pa drži na jogu, ili ide dolje pa drži dolje. Nema između. I otišao je dolje, tako da izvuku su maks, nema šta.
Vitality is going to try to get as many points as they can from the western side. Maybe we'll have one team that's kind of left to scraps, maybe 1 or 2 players left alive, but we'll have to see with Ascent. Eventually he's going to have to defend this S2G push. I mean, the smartest thing now from Ascent is saying, all right, guys, it's very unlikely we're going to be able to survive to the circle here, so let's try to maximize our points. If we kill the 3 players that's up ahead of us, and the 1 placement points we get from that, that would give us 4 points. On top of the already 7 that we have right now, would be an 11-point game. So I really like the kind of hunkering down the receive from them. That's also what should be happening, because they're not the ones closest to the blue. T-Bone finds the first one. That's Lassa going down here. S2G losing a little bit of members already. And this defense spot that Kiliakai has hunkered down on is actually huge. Look at that angle. Oh my god. Beautiful.
Lovely stuff by Ascend. Really good. Now the problem is, though, they're going to have to push into this circle. Where can they go? They might try for a little bit of a wrap here. They do know where Twisted Minds is. They obviously know that some of the compounds are already taken because there's been shots going their way. And now, how do you solve this puzzle here, Ascend? What is T-Bone going to call for them to try and make an entry. 11 points, nothing to sniff at. The only problem I think for the rest of this lobby in a 15-game series is that Twisted Minds came in super late from that north side, and they're still almost at double digits in a game like this. They're crashing down the hill.
Oh, yeah,
for example,
but
ripped them apart. Oh my god, that was so fast as they came over the hill. Barely a blink of an eye there, Martin.
Yeah, that's a 3-point donation to Twisted Minds, and you don't want to see that early on. Now an 8 kills already, 13 points total for Twisted Minds, but as I said, Ascent got what they could and maximized as they could. But for an eventually a potential kind of top 4, top 5 fight, they could have considered a blue deny, but they knew that there was a 2-man, so I think a 3 versus 2, I would take that as well. I like the decision-making here from Ascent. If they hadn't lost Keter, they might have had a bigger chance here, but he got knocked out early on, so sad times for them. But Vitality and Bushido Wildcats now, who takes this home, James?
My question to you is there a world, of course, where Twisted Minds just has quite the impact on, well, I mean, we might already have this answered, right? The fact that Bushido Wildcats already opens up with a knock and Vitality feels like they have to make a move, whilst Bushido Wildcats isn't on the side of the circle with Twisted Minds, so there's less likelihood that they're really going to be too worried about Twisted Minds having huge impact on their game. They're expecting Twisted Minds to kind of look the way of Vitality at the moment, perhaps, when they have to move into the circle.
Also think there's the point of view that there's 2 free points over there. Let's make sure that's us that gets them and not Vitality. Considering both of these teams have been very heavily reliant on that circle positioning, only 1 kill for them. They've been peacocking way more than they have been fighting to make sure that they could stay 4 men alive. So they really want to get that 10 points for the chicken dinner. Twisted Minds, do they just give up the points here? Do they feel like they have a chance? Because then again, like, you're not playing it in a way. Opportunities went out to try to get some util. No, I think he found nades maybe so he can make some cover to kind of go in towards the circle. Let's see though.
Frags.
Yeah, it's got a lot.
Baton's had 4 frags. I don't know how many Example has this, but at the same time now, Bushido Wildcats using smokes to move up a little bit. They do still know exactly where Twisted Minds is moving around at the moment. It was a very smart smoke to be able to go into the blue and pick up what he did. Very important stuff. And again, all of that was probably Ascent, right? So
7 nades still. Wow.
Yeah, they're opening up new craters for them to try and move into. This is important here for Twisted Minds, realizing that they really didn't have much cover to work with. So if we can smoke it off, create new craters, move forwards, maybe there's a world, maybe there's a lifeline where we can do something against these 2 teams that are 4-man alive at the moment. Whoa. That's a huge spray, though. He does a lot of damage, but he manages to duck and cover here as Batulins, but he's going to be naded himself. It's in range now. This is great stuff by Vitality. That had to get rid of them.
Yeah, there's no way you survived that. They needed more smokes, not more nades. Maybe 1 or 2 more smokes, and they had the chance to run in. Oh my god, Crossberg finds Getrox. Vitality down with 1 man here is crucial for this 4v4 fight that's just going to be happening now, James.
I love that he moved up a little bit, really kind of wedging himself up against Vitality, making it uncomfortable for them to move, as Getrox now is going to be kind of... Okay, I like the attempt.
Yes.
Just in case it's the molly coming on over, taking a few shots at it, just in case. But he's moved back in, and he does have a blue zone jammer pack, but I think he realizes he doesn't have enough time to be able to actually go for the heal there, so he moved out to keep himself alive and good to go.
The jammer pack keeping him alive is crucial there for Bushido Wildcats to keep this 3-man attempt to push in. And look at all that cover that's already been opened up around this rock here. That's huge. That's a big rock to have a peek from. Shots VSS coming into. Oh my bad. He's down to nothing. With the VSS in hand, he's going to have to heal back up here, James.
Yes, he is. Still, Bushido Wildcats seizing some very important terrain here with this rock. That smoke is kind of line of sighting the position there from Vitality. Levante, is he digging a hole? Is he being a cheeky little boy over there in the middle of all things? Code Marco trying to peek the left-hand side of this smoke as well.
Poza, brate, da li ti je potreban thumbnail designer?
There's still the 4v4 going down, nade forwards.
Nije,
does a bit
brate,
of
hvala
damage to
puno.
Celtic, but at the same time he knows exactly
Ako
where he needs
ti
to peek if
možeš da
anyone comes
postaviš na
along.
Discordu.
Look at this.
Ima dosta pro streamera na Discordu, tako da možeš postaviti tamo na engleskom jeziku, možda ti se neko javi. A mulji na Discord kod nas i postavi.
Yeah, he's getting shot as well. Medibay finds one. It's down to just Medibay here. 1v3 and no, it's Vitality to shut this one down
Jesse
here.
Nicole,
They've always spread. Paid
Nisam znao da
off
Redline igra,
hugely
respekt.
with a 7-kill chicken dinner.
big space control from Vitality, a very important shutdown
Ovo je
of
bila
Yo
zona
crashing
za
into one of the compounds, and that left
Da,
everything open for
umrli,
them
izbijte
on
ih,
the
Joga
eastern
Bonito,
side. It's a
brate,
big win
secnulo.
here for Vitality. After having a bit of a struggle in some of the moments in our first 2 weeks here of PEC, now they've been able to open up the final here of this one with a win. Let's bring Mark back in to talk about this game. Mark, we had an interesting circle one, of course, and then from there on out here, Vitality was able to control the east side.
Yeah, it was an interesting zone. I was like, tap me in, dads, I want this one. But no, the zone, lots of water, but lots of early movement from some of these teams. Vitality being one of them, they kind of rotated on that east bridge and came down to that south side, and then they kind of just sort of chipped away at those sort of down planes until they found themselves in that position. I was worried though, guys, because they were really split for a large amount of time, and you kind of would expect some sort of last-ditched attempts for some of these teams in the east, but they ended up fighting in the blue, so Vitality was able to hold the outside edge, and what a win in the end.
Pa su od naših igra s MVP ekipe, Joga Bonito.
If you want to try and go for a split like that where it is where the circle is, etc. and stuff like that, Martin, because technically speaking,
Teško će nekom treba, ali nikad ne znaš, postoji ja i pošalješ njemu, on ti pa dobro, ja koristim AI za te thumbnailove i realna priča, ok, to sve dovoljno je dobro, ali ne može to zamijeniti, dobar dizajner je dobar dizajner. Koliko si igra promijenila pogled svega, ne samo te od prošle godine stala bukvalno. Ali ima neke stvari koji su baš dobre, znaš, ono, nije sve loše. Čak što više, ima više boljih, dobrih stvari nego loših. Ali ono, znaš, odluka da se igra TPP je baš najgora ikada. I onda sve ovo dobro bude nekako u sjeni. Ali dosta dobar posao rade, iskreno, mislim se to neće nikad izgovori, ali dobro. Naravno, osim čitovanja, to je nikad gore.
Came in so late, but somehow gets 13 points off the back of it. The BRDM probably saving their bacon for a lot of that, but keeping them alive. Nobody needs to see in this lobby Twisted Minds getting 13 points off the rip, because they know how dangerous they're going to be for #1 in this final.
I'm with you, and you got a caveat as well that I feel like they got taught a lesson on the finals level 1 by VP, so I think they've got a bit of being there on it to try and produce.
Vitality 7, ovo nam je odlično što je Vitality prvi ljudi. Zašto Vitality je ekipa koja nije u formi i ako očekujemo od bilo koga da posustane, to su oni. A ono, prvi meč, tako da ono ne bi talka skroz. Twisted Minds, jebi ga, to nikad ne želimo vidjeti gore, Ascend. Okay. Joga 7 ništa nisu mogli urade više od ovoga, tako da bombastično. I VIP istralo game. Mislim da su istrali prvo s pozicijom, ali očito su oni očekivali te shifteve kao obali tamo tog dolu, na to su igrali. Šta god. Ja sam od njih očekivao da uzmu Heaven i eventualno garažnu dolje, što se nije desilo iz nekog razloga. Tako da su po mom mišljenju su istrolali na max. Storm on request, jo. Ne bi talci ostalo. Jebi ga, ovdje najlup. Evo ga, izbili su ga iz bagija i onda onaj fight. Ali Joga nam je odlična. Virtus sporo će da se priključi. Ne znam, baš bi volio da vidim. Ja mislim, oni imaju potencijal da budu tu. A mislim da će dosta zavisi od zona. Ako budu dobijali ovakve zone, njima je to zasigurno da će uzimati 7 do 10 bodova po meču. Ili 5 do 10 bodova po meču, što je okej. Ako i bude zona šetala, nisam vidio baš dobru igru u kvalama kad nemaju zonu. Ali imaju potencijala, šta znam. Imali su 7 dana da se pripreme, tako da za sad je brutalno.
I also think they'll be looking at Twisted Minds' performance and going, not this one, lads. We can't let you get
Možda si malo stavilo balans pancer i BRDM i to. Dobro, mislim, kažem, ima dobrih, ima loših stvari. Ima. I dobro i loše, šta da se radi. Ali overall je dinamično, zanimljivo. Znaš, ide to sve u dobrom smjeru.
Nice try.
Problem je tu glavni to što to nisu glavne stvari. To nisu glavne stvari i nisu stvari koje su zbog kojih će neko doći i reći sad ja zbog ovoga neću igram PUBG, jel? Tako da, dokle ne fiksaju te stvari, zbog kojih se odustaje, a to je cheat pod broj 1, nema tu sreće. Od 15 bija mora se bar 2 vina uzeti za gornje neke top 3 pozicije. Kako misliš 2 vina? Moraju vinati svaki dan, nema šanse. Ti da bi top 3 bio, ti moraš imati win i dobre gameove na 5 mečeva dnevno da bi održao treću poziciju na 3 dana. Minimum 3 vina, možda čak i jače. Realno mora iz ona bar jednom uzeti. A ne, znate šta, mislim, ti da bi bio prvi bilo gdje, ti ne možeš igrat na to da te zona usere, jel? Nisu to timovi koje zona usere pa su prvi. Znaš, to da čekaš da te zona pogodi, to ti je za prolaz. To posao. Ovi što su prvi, oni ne čekaju zonu. Tipa razlika između prvog i drugog mjesta može biti zona, razumeš? Prvi tim je dobio više, malo sreće, dobio više zona, to da. Ali razlika između top 3 i ovi dolje nije zona.
The belief in yourself to be able to do a drive-by or something, but as you heard the other guys say on Twisted
Minds, 15 game uglavnom 2-3 vina i maksimalno možeš imati 2-3 loše game. Da, slažem se. Možeš imati loše. Mislim, sve zavisi koliko su ti dobri gameovi dobri, ali ako gledamo neki prosjek, tako nešto. OTP.
Laser too, a lovely gentleman that I love to see in the head-to-head, the rivals here, Mark.
Brate, kako ovaj Levant izgleda kao neki dobar lik, jel da? Ba tu li mi izgleda onako kao mutan lik, znaš. Tako mi izgleda, znaš, ne mogu baš, ne izgleda mi baš ono, znaš, dobroćudno, ali ovaj mi izgleda baš dobroćudno. Ne znam šta misli.
All right, let's see what those two players are going to do. Let's see what all the teams are going to do. It is time to head on to game number 2. Miramar. The stage has been set by
Miramar.
with a win so far. Who's going to be able to take the second game of the day?
Good flight path, a bit crazy. We were northwest down towards a south central. We had the crazy southwest the other day, Martin.
Dobra je stvar što su ovi naši igrali dobro na Erangelu.
The others should be happy with this flight path.
Jer realno je Erangelo najviše RNG od svih mapa.
But not too much else going on, to be honest. But still, Mark, we have some new teams in here. So let's see if they have to shy off to their alt drops. So we're going to see some hot drops. I don't really assume so, but still, JOGA BONITO forcing themselves into this area. I kind of like it. And also getting some of that high prio spots are massive. Ascent to be in Monte is also huge. No slack in El Pozo. Let's see where we get the circle here, though, Mark. This could be a huge one, considering where we've had to get this western side here. If we get a wonky or like further eastern circle, it's going to be difficult for a lot of these teams to kind of rotate in and crush each other.
Yeah, you got to look at this flight path, and I suppose if you're Ascend, they've moved their drops now, haven't they? So Monty's their kind of go-to. They'll be happy. El Pozo, we've seen that a few times. It goes east, though. So for those that don't know, the zone has to touch the flight path, and it's pixel perfect as it just about crisps it and sends it to the east. Now we've got to look at potential teams that'll be looking for that rotation. One of the big ones for me, with S8UL not in the final, Martin, they will know there's a team not extending over to Impala as well. So it'll be interesting to see who gets in the cards and rotates early. We've got to look at Navi. We've got to look at VP as well, because they had the capability to leapfrog ahead of a lot of this zone.
Yeah, this is the benefits of Navi's areas, the Cantera endings, especially what we saw at the PGS second go here. They've had a big chance, and this is a Navi home turf circle if I've ever seen one. After what we had in the first game with VP, they need to strike back if they want to win another one to come their way. Also Vitality to come in of this southern side here, already gliding in. Levante, always good to see him in those head-to-heads. Awesome to have Vitality performing here. What we saw, it feels like to me though, Mark, that we've forgotten about them a little bit last week, but they were still in a top 8 position. They still got the PGC points, so they can still lock down a top spot.
Istako mi izgleda ovaj premium, imam reklame. Brave instaliraš i još ima ad blokere ovdje što je naći.
Does have a nosy neighbor below. Here's the car. He's going to try and take the opportunity. JOGA BONITO has
Kristalni
moved.
ne
Kristalni,
zna.
though, backing away from the door. Was it a temp
Jel zna
fake?
Kristalni zog, a ljudi jel prati one znači uzma šotu.
From the movements from Kristalni below, I kind of feel like he doesn't know. And PWD took the bait that actually he might be looking to get in the
kako su
car, but
retardirani
with
ovi
a lot more
kasteri,
movement.
braće, nerealno je koliko oni ne znaju ovu igricu, to je nerealno. Uključujući Mark Fara koji je meno drug, ali šta ću kad je lik. Stvarno su ono.
Now looks for the opportunity, gets the knock, Simon will go down as he tries to be sneaky, and Kristani, well, he's got the shotgun, PWD has heard it.
Kako da me iznervira, ono, kako, znaš, on ocjenjuje da pokretni Kristalnog, znaš, nije to fight, ne, ovo uzma šotku, bez razloga.
Yo, had a good game. One. And now they're looking to try and capitalize. That's a huge PWD gets a second. No, Cappy gets the first. And for JOGA BONITO, a team that is hyper-aggressive, looks to be hyper-aggressive here, but found themselves stepping on a bit of a landmine. And for Team Yo, that is what the start they need to do as the game number one for them. Well, they got held out. They got held out that zone.
Evo ga, izgubili su fight, nema šta. Fight je morao da se uzme, Kristalni je loše odragao. Ne znam da li je Kristalni bježao ili je ušao u kamp kod ovog, ne znam šta se desi. Ali ako ga ovaj crashao i nije bježao, greška. A ako mu je ušao da luta kamp, nije znao da je tu. Svejedno greška Kristalno, obrnio kraj.
The movement from the team telling me that they don't know where the rest of JOGA BONITO are.
Yeah, it looks like they're
VP
just gonna
loša
grab
zona.
the chips and maybe hold on to them. Maybe they get a cheeky recall care package. But at least
Da, baš loša zona za VP ljudi, možda nikad gora, a? Šta mislite? Dobro, ne znam da li su im uzeli čipove, ovo je sad pitanje, ako su im uzeli čipove, to je razvalili čipove, jer mogu da ih revajaju, realno, imaju 2 revive-a. A da, teško priča, već im ostavi čip. Gdje si boli? Dobro, rijetkost je da oni bailaju. Dobro, ne igraju Adri. Mogu oni ovo da izaberu slobodno 100 puta još do sada. Znaš šta je problem? Ako nije mogao da baila, onda je legit fight. Ako je mogao da baila, a nije, ili ako je ušao u kamp, a nije znao da je lik tu, to su greške. Sad, ako nije mogao da u trenutku kad su se već našli dolje, nema baila, jer bi ga ovaj izbio za out. During that period, but for now, most people are in. There's a lot of room on the outside edge, so some of these teams that are coming in quite late, they don't have to overextend. A nije mogao probaj s autom s konto da će... Ne, to i kažem, nije od tog trenutka pa naprijed se mora desiti fight, zato ti kažem, izgubili su fight, morao se desiti fight. Kažem, pre toga, jel? Dvije su opcije, ili ga ovaj crashao pa nije bježao, ili ušao u kamp, nije znao da ovaj luta unutra. I to je greško. Kad je ušao unutra, gotovo. Onda su odradili sve ok, izgubili fight, to je to. Ide VP. Olga izbi. Ajmo refragaj.
Looks like that VP is going to be on the receiving end of a lot of things.
Ajmo kure. Kružala ovaj PDD on
fair. A lot of damage done to him.
Ubije nam dvije ekipe.
Really well done here from Yo. A pull up onto Virtus Pro, but look at this. Nemesis looking at the distance, trying to scrap some points from it, steal a little bit away. They see them in the distance here, stayed. Taking shots against them too. It's turned around. A great headshot also. Straight towards them. Sosa's actually low. Beamy finds Sosa. It's an off angle. That's huge for Beamy.
Uzima Beamy bodove.
That is huge as well.
Evo, obje ekipe su nam ostale na 2 igrača.
Even for Team Yo, they know who that third party is. Melman causes some damage. Beamy has to slide away, but they're down to a duo here. Not the best start for VP.
Najbolje bilo sad da se udruže.
Hyper aggressive, but it's working.
Gle korekcija, vrati. Evo korekcija glumi A, ne, mislim da će korekciju ušeta u kamp, ali ide na mot.
Recoup a little bit of their lost interest so far, though. With them already being locked down by multiple teams, it's kind of a little bit difficult to get out of Los Leones with any priority into the next circle. And then looking in, I also see a few guys talking about my big headsets. I've heard a little bit about the guys saying we're going to go aggressive this week here. It's not the future here. It's the players' thoughts directly. It's kind of crazy.
I can see your headphones from space, mate. They're that big. Right.
I can see your hair from space.
On the rotation, STG, they're coming out the north side. Construction workers coming out south. Michael down the high ground is there. I feel like they felt like completely disengaged, but for Team Nemesis, they left one behind and they left a dangerous gun.
That's a little bit cheeky by Nemesis to set up a continued trap here. Yo has to fully disengage from this one. Now we see no slack coming in extremely slow here, driving on the southern side and through Montenegro here, probably going to go southwest from the same kind of entry point to the Los Leones highway that we're currently on here with IXE.
Možda nisu uzeli čipove.
Has up shop here.
Nemam pojma već.
Kind of like it with a little bit of a greedy split in between.
Znači, iskreno, trebalo bi da stave ovdje. Ja ne znam koliko vi vidite na streamu. A vidite, ja vidim šta vi vidite. Znači, kod Joga imate ove dve prazne crtice. Vidite gdje mi je miš. Znači, kod Joga je dve ove prazne crtice. Trebalo bi da naprave da kad eksplodira im čip neko, da ovdje stoje 2x-a ili da nestanu ove crtice, nešto od toga, razumijete? Ako mi ne znamo jesu li uzeli njima čipove ili nisu, pretpostavljamo da jesu. Aj ti znaj.
Construction workers start taking shots. There's so many fights here in this eastern side of Los Leones. Mark, I don't really know. Is this worth it, to be honest? Yeah. Sure, you're getting some big names down, but I don't know.
They're so split. Everyone's really they're trying to do that kind of team vitality game one, conquer the terrain, spread out and farm the information. But everyone is coming into sight.
Čekajte, pa li ovo najlup ima dobru zonu?
He sees the Air Force coming into sight as he does try to reposition himself, gets himself
mislim ima dobar split round. Obi najlup mogu odigra dobro. Joga je tu, ma nema, vidite, Joga je tu mentor. Već bi oni probali. Ode VP u lobby, pa nije još jedan je živ, ne? Još jedan je živ. Jedan je živ. Ko je živ? Brex? Ne znam ko je živ.
Areas that you deem worthy to be played late game as well. Let's say where we do end up here, it's going to be a Cantera proper ending here. Huge priority onto Hive and how Bushido Wildcats also looking good. Storm and request inside Minas, but that's usually very contested and you have to kind of leave
it like a city. Šta će Joga doradi. Joga mora da senda moje mišljenje. Znate već moje mišljenje. Pogotovo duo. To je ono što Joga nikad ne radi. To jest, radi kad nemaju šta izgubiti, kad igraju opušteno, kad radi. Sad sam ih vidio da radi. Svaki put kad im je stani pani ne rade i odluče se živjeti što je okej, njihovi. A mislim da sad kad su duo, boga moraju probati naći neku rupicu, neki centar, nešto.
All right. It's going to be a 4v4 with Navi and Ascent here. This is crucial fight.
Znači, njih može, a može ako ima čipove, ali ne izgleda mi kao da su im ostali čip.
If you can win this one, you might be able to snowball a little bit. Shops are coming in as well. Hackatory filling in on that northeastern side. He's going to have a dirty offing. The guys have committed inside the hangar. Kidder on the other side. You might be able to find some knocks and some damage onto these guys if they're able to come in and come around.
Damage goes back on the other side. A lot of grenades go back and forwards. Ferris, I think, was being sneaky about due to moving. Has been
Pogledajte vi na što se ova igrica svela, Bemti, TPP, mrtvi, glavu, ližu sjenove.
And definitely stepped up to the plate. He has to step up here one more time. The smoke, well, it starts to bloom. The flash comes through. Boostic steps up to the plate, though. Shot goes through. Doesn't get the connections. He will tree back the flash. And now we see the spark.
Iz hipfire pucanje. Kad ste vidjeli u PUBG-u hipfire pucanje u FPP?
And it's an opening from Ferris.
Ferris finds Keta as well. That's 2 knocks from Ferris. He had such a great performance throughout PEC so far. And they continue here, boosting down to 26, but he is not to be stopped. Pops up first hit and then might be able to get 2 more in. Someone might be able to backfill this now. Confirmations are coming in. Keter and Killiakai is out. T-Bone finds Boostig though.
Dobar
They
nade.
got the information now. Grenade goes on the
Pola mu
other
je
side,
skinuo.
bounces as it hits the wall just away. Does a bit of damage here. Spyro wraps his way around the other side. Molly goes over to the top. Spyro just waiting for the peak. He knows the next step could be quite critical as Chris repositions as well. Flash comes through, has to duck back, and T-Bone, well, he takes the opportunity now to cross a little bit closer. They're not close enough to stack up and go. Spyro is waiting for T-Bone to make the push.
Fairist ima Molly, brate, ne baca ga.
Well, gonna have a Molotov thrown again at that corner there. Another stun grenade and the blue zones and smokes are coming out.
Smokaju Chrisa da bi napali T-Bone, pogledaj to. Što ti je komunikacija? Hvala, Chrisa, druže. Koliko je dobar lik s ovom krmačom.
It feels like Ferris, though, is a one-man army at this point. Flash comes over. He lines up the M24. Oh, the shot and Ferris! Oh, my God. The pre-fire from his Chris is not enough.
Aj, molim vas, objasnite Markiplier da nije Ferris iz jump shota ubio Chrisa nego Hakatori. Molim vas, objasnite mu da lik koji je skočio nije napravio kill. Ako može neko. Napišite mu tamo u chatu. Ako može neko.
Doesn't have high prior as is right now, but they are now going to be able to loot all of the packages here, and then we're going to have the next zone pop.
Idemo sad enemy Joga. Je li Joga umrla, braći? Si Joga?
So we'll give away. I'm surprised no one backfilled it. No one backfilled it.
Umrla Joga, braći. Nije, će Joga jebati.
Cool as they stay and hold their ground, they collapse their 2-2 split and they pray to the PUBG gods that they get the zone. It comes back their way. Cantera, as you say, it's another zone ending, and now teams rotate their way in. They're going to see, and interesting to see where no stack go for me, because they could come in behind kind of PGG, but they could also go around towards that top. Cantera is going to be a bit hectic.
Cantera is going to be fun. I really love the Cantera proper endings where you have the circles around the edges.
Nema ih u zoni, možda idu rezati jebote, a?
The construction workers there.
Ne vide se, ja ih ne vidim. Jel ih neko primjećuje, možda se ja retardiram samo.
It is in the PC finals here.
Možda su negdje van zone.
Michael and the guys here already having lost Michael's of his huge, but Peter D goes down to Sheila. Sheila was a huge name throughout PEC.
Da, oni su negdje van zone.
Ili,
ne znam, nije, ali.
It's down once again. PWD though bleeding out though. Cappy is on one today. He just stacks up and takes in the sub or the coach. Lazar goes down. Sheila pre-fires towards the door. Team trying to catch the rotations. The Sharks. Mess2G rotate their way around. They try to find entry in towards his compound. Jeem steps up, steps forward. Cappy down to 1 HP, but he gets another knock though and does the job one more time.
Oh my God, Jeems, what a peek with the barrel though. Takes Baron down.
Stolen.
And a 2v1 for Yo. 6 kills already here, Mark. This is a huge game for them, and it's big names that they've taken out already.
I feel like this is like, they just don't care. They're just playing aggressive. They're going and finding people in front of him, and that's the next target they acquire. Yo have lost PWD, have lost to Michael, so they are down to 2. Construction workers, though, you said they're finding materials. I think they're trying to mine as they're outside Minas Generales at the moment. Cappy, though, well, he's looking for gold. He's looking for gold another way as he's driving forward to get more points on the board.
Stun grenade goes out. He's going to have to wait a little bit for this one here. Sheila tries to send it around. One more stun goes in.
Nisu ga čuli, jebote. Nisu čuli da je pobjegao Sheila, gledaj to.
A lot of damage can be done. They have no idea where he's gone, so they're going to have to look for him.
Yeah, Sheila, great move. The Flash took the opportunity. He's going to get the sound cues now. He has to hit the click of the grenade. Grenade goes out the window. He goes for the peak, but they've got
Kako se dobro kreće Sheila, kako se dobro kreće Sheila.
Oh, really get a second, and Cappy steps up one more time.
Kapi zvijer, ljudi, kapi zvijer.
Nobody's going to backfill this fight either, a third party. It looked like Construction Workers was kind of sniffing at it, but it does not end up like this. And this is another decent game for Yo. 7 kills to come their way so far, and sure, they're down to 2-man, but if you can keep this 7 points per game average up, you're going to be absolutely fine. So well done, lads. Next circle pops here, and I know, Mark, that you're crossing your fingers for a proper Cantera ending.
It'd be good. It would be good. We get the outside edge quite a lot. I'd love it to go central. We'll wait and see. Zone is about to give way. Construction workers didn't attempt to leave their location. They have dug in.
Look at that.
Cantera's in. It's in. It's going to need a big hardship for it to stay in here. But the south
Evo
side
ga
team
nodi, ljudi.
has got the numbers back up.
Naši
Our
svoji.
no stack team coming on the south side as well. JOGA BONITO stored down some bodies as their reinforcements, their recalls have only got one option to go.
Vratili su ih, ljudi nisu razvalili čipovi. Slaven se žrtvovo za njih trojicu. Iskreno respekt za Slakija. Plus respekt. Pogledaj ovo. Svaka čast za koliko god je kolo.
Bushido has Not too much of an idea yet, I think.
Bukvalno su braći upali na jedno slobodno mjesto u kanteri.
Aggressively taking a stance against Bushido here. Looks like they're crashing in this northwestern side mark and taking the outskirts of Cantera inside the crater.
Kogod da je kolo, ne znam, Kristan.
Not bad play for them. They've got a little bowl they can play from. They're hoping for it to leave, though. Construction workers starting to pay off that they have dug in. They have found gold, and one of them is in the way of Storm on request. So it will fall down. Vard able to try and peek. He's got 3 grenades as well. There goes one. They know there could be danger coming. The grenade boost the car, though, as he gets a safety push, though, from the construction workers.
Yeah, that's a good way for them to extract here. They might be able to get into that next ball, and a lot of big esports moments has happened in that ball and around this area here. So we continue to strike and make more history. Get Rockstars find Vessi, and Storm and Request is on the receiving end of a lot of teams banging on them, and they're out in 14th place.
That car must have had some momentum to run straight into the other team.
Io igra vitality bolesno danas.
I like those Lax position as well. They've gone to the outside, so they're trying to put their backs now against the blue and have
Uzeli su kill ovaj meč.
Look on in.
Imaju dobru zonu.
Does have one down. And needs to try and get rezzed up here because he holds back slightly. I think he's just trying to piece together the puzzle.
Baš me zanima gdje će vi Piland.
They rotate their way around and out of danger. They do find
themselves in the misliš da će da ih revive?
Yeah, it's a good way to peacock and push teams away here to make sure that they don't enter from their location. They want to be that only team from that northern side so they can sweep the edges here. Kovalevi does find Kapi. Kapi's down there with a long shot from no slack. That's going to be an easy flush to come into. Maybe a steal if construction worker sniffs that out. Sata stealing tires.
Još sada Joga dobije jedan shift, braći, eto još jednog dobrog game. Trebao bi rebliz. A stvarno je pitanje gdje će da leda. Znači, ako je Jogi bio težak kol, njima je duplo teži.
At least he's going to be able to get some back, not all. And I think also he's just seen the players in the distance, he can't do it.
With the tac pack, Mark, a big strategy as we see construction workers actually finding multiple players on Twisted Minds. Patulins finds Specs.
Evo te ja mislim da Patulin više puta čovjeka bombom ubija nego met.
Names to take down here, Twisted Minds just down to one player, and Batulin's got to heal up, and he's up to 75 HP, but he's going to have to try to make a push and try to squeeze one more point out as Pixlix drives in, tries to do a drive-by onto potentially Twisted Minds here. He's in the smoke. There's X-ray on for us here, but he's spotted. Nailed finds him. Boostix also finding PGG. And construction workers being able to hold on to this northern side. We do have the western side of Kentucky, but no ljudi, pogledajte shift. Koga have to defend this northern side. But as I said with the tactical pack,
Finci moraju fajtat.
You can put in jammer packs into the three spots. So it's effectively 100 healing that you can instantly pull back if you find a lot of the blue zone packs. So it's kind of smart way to do it.
The downside he's got right is that for him the best scenario I think would have been a Twisted Minds winning that fight because they may or may not have seen the rotation
from
James, but with construction winning that fight aggressively and quick as they've done, they can focus their attention.
Imaće ljudi Finci na Enecu baš dobra ekipa.
So good play from him, but you have to wait and see how it plays
out. Ne znam da će dobiti direkt imati, možda čak i dobio.
See how that evolves here with Navi now getting some riches and some rocks to play with here. No slack on that eastern side here, and eventually, we're going to see a lot of teams fighting inside Cantera now. Dipix finds Sloyd Jacket. Sloyd Jacket did find Soset as well. Hackatori stolen here with the Soset kill. That's big points to be confirmed. Dipix confirms Sloyd Jacket, though. Now PGG and Nemesis is going to have big fights. Look at Nodi, though. Joker Bonito still outside the zone, trying to heal, trying to get in here, Mark.
He's going to cause huge problems, especially if they take a knock. Grenade goes forward, downstairs it goes. He does get it. The Melman delivers the post, and he delivers it perfection. There's one. Looks like for the confirmation though in a second. Does get the confirmation. Navi causes some problems though. Puts him down to 18 HP. And for Noddy though, again, if you see a player in front of you medded, do you take the opportunity to take the shot?
Stead finds good damage onto Boostic here. That off angle was not expected. Spiro does find Stead.
Just Melman sam, ali Melman tu ima
ovaj ga ne čuje jebo. Bleeds out as well. Spiro gets it. Melman finds Salik. PGG falling apart here, and it's just Navi that's on the winning end of this fight here. They're holding out both PGG and Nemesis. Noddy was found by Kovalevi in the distance too.
Jebote, Kovalevi, skontati da je Kovalevi našao i korekcije na dijavan zoni. Našli finci. Da. A jeste li vidjeli ljudi power rankings? Vidjeli power rankings je Mike. Znači ono kao skrivena kamera da je otprilike. Ima 5 bandaža i 1 first.
Let's see if we can see the teams on the southern side finish this one out here as Simon tries to survive for a little bit long with a shotgun and a Panzer. Tries to sneak in, tries to get into the edge of this, but Bushido Wildcat holding this one out aggressively. Eventually we're going to see Vitality and Bushido fight. Where does No Slack go? We're also going to see Construction Workers and Hive have a go at it on the northern side.
Odjedno ko može vina osim Navija je Hamo.
Have the biggest benefit of this circle here, Mark.
Yeah, I'm interested where we know that go. They've obviously gone for a
Vidio na Twitteru, jeste vidjeli oni ljudi? Jeste li vidjeli ono ljudi?
Vitality reinforced that, we saw them playing here as well, so they're going to be fortified and waiting for anyone coming from the east. Simon's going to be a bit of a problem. Construction Workers also going to be a problem, but for me, Construction Workers playing to Team Vitality, maybe. There's no Slack get involved. They do get involved early. IXE pops up over the top, though. It forces the Construction Workers to stop, and IXE sees a 4-man running his way, and he drops down as he finds some cover.
Goes for the stun grenade, tries to set up shop on the other side here, but then it's going to be difficult for him to survive this one.
Nije stigao da popa.
They can commit maybe one nade or two. Sata also taking damage now. That's actually
Gledajte šta je
really
smokova na
smokes here to defend their spot, to have a little bit of insight to work with here. They wanted to go deeper, I think. Getbrox just got found here by Schengen, though, as he confirmed Dante.
Looks like confirmation done, dusted. Schengen does find Jedrock, so it goes round. So obviously shifts towards that south side. Navi in full control, full flight though as the grenades come out. Vile gets some damage. The third one might be more, but it's not. It does do some more damage, but gets to get the knock. And Team Vitality though haven't had too much pressure for a while, so they can launch all of the utility where they can. But Construction Workers, they've backed up against the blue. Now they back up into the car, and now they look to migrate their way into zone.
Boga mi problema s Constructions. Construction Workers.
Into the fight too. It's going to be difficult for Hive to survive for much longer.
Odavno ovu zonu nisam gledao. Jeste li igrao neko skoro ovu zonu? Na ranked ili na skirmishima ili neće? Ja ovo baš nisam davno vidio, iskreno.
Yeah, again, Navi giving him a bit
of a
pass, right? Akatori, not just one, but two. So be happy. Construction Workers, though. After mining,
Simon.
Find their way forward though. And Simon had the Panzer, and he books it to full effect.
Uzmi bot, Simone.
Marco has to try and find another opportunity. He can hear the footsteps on the outside, but he most he's heard the click of the shotgun, so he has to keep the distance in between him and Simon.
Might be able to get this one up here.
Bro, prezentio. Neće biti dovoljno da im poremeti win. Dobio Simon kill. Ostaje kod Marka unutra.
Navi again and again, they are just holding the zone, and they've got this ridge line. Spyro holds us
Pogledajte shift koji je Navi dobio. Ja ne znam kako, ajde, objasnite mi kako da se izgubi Navi u zonu.
If they can hold teams at bay, they should be able to farm additional kills and steals.
Njega nisi podmazao danas.
And I love that we see a potential C4 from Sadeko
Sad će Nino se
right
upaliti.
No Slack.
Ne sumnjam ja uopšte. Ima 3 dana da se igra ljudi, gledamo još 2 dana, brate. Nema ništa ljepše nego kad dođe finale u PUBG turnir. A ove godine, Bogu hvala, imat ćemo ih non stop. Poslije ovoga ljudi ide PGS, EVC, PNC, onda ide ide Pets Fall, onda ide NC, pa PGC.
Yeah. Keep forgetting about the PNC performance here matters, and there were so many teams looking to try and get into the final.
Dobro, VIP igra i PGS i EVC. Da.
Step up.
Da, ali znate, ako Joga bude top 3, nisam 100% siguran u ovaj info, ali sam računao sam poene. Ako Joga bude top 3, oni idu na EVC, mogu da se plasiraju. Recimo, Joga treba bude... A ovi što su trebali da prođu u finale su ispali, da znate. Znači, ako nam budu top 3, trebali da prođu. Ali to je moja računica, ne kažem da je tačno. Mislim da je tako. Mislim da Joga može na EVC da ode. Znači, samo nam treba budu top 3. Mislim, kao samo nam treba budu treći u Evropu.
I said it, to have a good day number one, that sets them up. Definitely a momentum team, and it's scary if Navi start the momentum off in game number 2 here.
Treba da je, jer Sol ispo pa treba biti, tako je, Sol ispo, prošle sedmice, znači mora biti treći. Jel ti isto misliš? A sad za PGC će VP treba poene. Pa dobro, ali VP već ima. Možda nema, ma ima bre, ja mislim da i oni već imaju. Mislim da već ima.
Close this one out and maybe open the door onto a Navi that's been looking unstoppable so far in this game. MP5 in hand and a bolt, the classic setup, but only 70 HP. He doesn't have a stim, he doesn't have a booster, he doesn't have anything to get him that last 30 HP. And to go up against the fight onto Navi, you're going to need every single point of HP to push.
Sad više navijan za Jogu.
Make sure that you can get as many points out of this game as possible.
Ali mislim,
biggest thing for me is Navi's control.
Ono, kao naš više navijam, ali nešto ne mogu da ih odvojim. Ne mogu da ih odvojim. Jer nije baš VP, ono, klasična situacija. Jer, znaš, ono, jes dva stranca, dva naša, ali ova dva naša nose tim, znaš, ovo je bukvalno njihov tim. I onda ja to, znaš, gledam ih isto. Ali ne, ono, kao malo više je za Jogu, ali... Ne mogu ih odvojiti.
Maybe they need to commit a little bit more to this X-Hal fight here. They're looking to maximize their points, looking to get every single point squeezed out of this game. They know that there's 2 Bushido Wildcats down in the ball. They want to make sure that they can get those 2.
Ma jak nema, imat će još pun PG... Ma ja ne vidim šansu da oni ne budu na PG-u, iskreno. Pogotovo, ljudi su bukvalno najbolji tim na svijetu.
This one here, X-Hal is looking to stack up more shots coming in for Fairies. He does have a really good angle to close off the Bushido Wildcats players trying to get into the zone mark. Oh my god!
He has to control that ammo now. 75
Koliko su giftani ljudi.
over 2
Šta mislite, ko vina, Havel ili Navi? Šta mislite? Ja mislim da Navi vina.
Here comes the first initial spray though. Does get a damage, does get the final before he gets in towards cover here. Now he looks to try and find the final.
Ola mu giftaju po jedne druge. 15 kilova ima ljudi. Evo sam očekivao od Navija, ali ovo mi je samo giftan meč, razumijete. Ovo je giftana zona.
7 kills, more damage than Hackatory, almost a 1k club for Ferris. I wrote to Alrain last week.
Tipa, ako Ferris dođe do ovde i skopa rupu, to je GG. A ne znam da može dođe iskreno. Ok, Spyro u problemu, smokaju ga.
Historically, they're always the ones making the plans and not getting the kills, and it's accepted. And we've seen team after team step up, and now the Mad steps up. Spyro goes down first, hits the spray,
nafarmali su fino na gift dola. Nema šta, mislim i kad se gifta mora se farmat. Masa timova faila. Ali ovo je baš gift. Ja u zonu ne znam kad sam gledao za ili. Ovo je baš gift.
Have to see if they can close this one out here. 4v3 obviously down with a little bit, but still some stun grenades, some utility still in hand here to make an opening onto this one here. I feel like Hackatory's off-angle position inside a little bit of a ridge is actually going to pay off huge, but
jedno što je loša stvar trenutno za nas je šta je Havel peti. Realno bit će. Može biti treći. Može biti treći. Može biti treći ako uzmu 2 kila sad u ovom fajtu.
Direct some of the terrain here as Boostik
Ide
finds the mat and a
Boostik.
flush on him too. That was quick.
Prosto bolju zonu ima Navi, mislim da nema šanse da izgube ovo. Kako igra ovaj dečko, kako igra boost. Nije čuo ovaj push. Gle Hakatorija šta je iskopao duže krater. Sad možda Havel ima blagu prednost kad je boost upao. S čime ovaj lik igra, bre. Najbolji igrač. 3-1. Što radi fake najlub, brad? Što uradi fake? Kako su prodali ovo? Kako su prodali ovo, ljudi? Mislim, ovo je Hakatori, braću, da se ne lažemo. Tito, igrica, kako je prodao ovaj fake najlub? Šta je ovo? Koji sellout, brać. Odmah kick iz klana, ovo nema razmišljanja, brać. Samo kick iz ekipe i čao. Koja prodaja, brać. Mislim, ovo nam ide, ali oni nisu uspjeli treći bet, tako da ono, topčinu. Koja prodaja, brać.
The finals have started so fantastic already. I can't even believe that we're turning our
Kako
attention to
mu je poklonio game. Ovo odavno nisam vidio bukvalno. I to imao još ono govno od puške, on s tim nije kill up, ovoga metka pogodio. Bez recoila, ono smeće što su ubacili igri. Ajoj, braćo draga. Ajoj, braćo draga, šta sam vidio.
But this is scary. Navi are starting really strong. We know they can keep up that momentum. We know they can keep up that pressure. Yes, they got a bit of home turf luck here. They dealt with the crash from Ascend, and then they dealt with the zoning terrain really well. All the teams at bay, and they maximized out 20 kills here for game 2.
Definitely a tough one, right, Martin? I mean, a lot of these teams really committing to Cantera Crater means that, unfortunately, if you have to come out of it, then suddenly Navi laying in wait to be able to shoot everything that moves coming out. X-Howl is there as well. You can't even really push into them. I thought, actually, X-Howl was going to win this. When you saw the angle that I think Nailcup was able to take where Hakatori was, but I think he missed quite a few of the shots against Hakatori at these moments.
Yeah, there was a little bit of shots coming in. He's down to 13 HP here, and this was where, like, okay, surely he wins, but the ditch that Hakatori had dug himself to make sure he could get these peaks out was just absolutely disgusting. Look at that. Only one other team to get double digits. 30 points.
A 30-point game, a 20-kill game. I don't think anything has beaten that so far across PEC. That is massive from Navi. What a start here to the finals. X-Howl with 11 points going their way. The Bushido Wildcats once again, Mark, are able to survive into the late game.
Yeah, they're good at farming those sort of placement points. It's those kills they need to kind of start converting. Good position for them. They obviously, I felt like they dealt with Cantera quite well with Vitality coming up northwest corner, and obviously other teams like JOGA BONITO coming in from the east. But there are points that I kind of want them to get a bit more aggressive, play that Turkish style and go find those kills. They're great at finding placement. If they can convert the kills as well, we'd definitely keep them at the top.
Do you reckon Virtus Pro and Navi have just decided after PGS2 and PGS3 wins, Martin,
koji game, ljudi.
Just, you know,
koji game Navi,
back
ljudi.
and forth trading wins again? Because how, like, Ferris did 1,000 damage, Hakatori did 1,000 damage. What is going on?
1000 damage, man.
3 revives as well from Hakatori. I mean, there are so many fights to
Kapi je igrao
also, I gotta
brutalno.
say this. The way that the fights lined up
Kakva
for
je
them
ovo
to,
zvijer od igrača, braća.
you know, slightly involve themselves in either third parties or be the kind of aggressor to hold out teams and so far. Like, I mean, the way that worked out for the Rich that they had to play with was perfect as well. But to do it this aggressively, Fairest and Hakatori, between them 15 kills. The only win that they had in Finals 1 was with 6 kills. Now they have one here with 20. They had 119 points total last Finals. Here in this game alone, 30. And we have 15 total games to play. This is just an insane start for them.
The crazy thing is that as we talk about the team focus, of course, Twisted Minds. As soon as I saw Power Grid, I was like, I know who we're going for. Yeah, Twisted Minds here. This is a trick that has been shown as well on the broadcast that you guys can incorporate into your game to get up there on a bike. But as it looks here, Mark, I'm very concerned for some of these teams having to go up against these teams that have come out very strong to start.
Yeah, it is a very strong showing for them. Twisted Minds obviously looking to try and produce that strong showing again. They've lost the zone, they've gone aggressive. You saw them obviously the same with that last game, but nice hold from the construction workers. They dug in deep as well early game in this north side, so I think that paid them dividends coming into kind of that positioning. But it is a strong start, and you got to think as well, James, these other teams, right? They can't allow these big dogs to continue this, right? Because we're going into a day number 2. We're not looking at first anymore. We're looking at a second downward. Like, they need to dial up and dial up pretty quick.
No, definitely. For the construction workers, very important. And then a team that I kind of hold in the same position.
Right?
Actually, Cappy was able to do so much in this game as well, Martin. And I think that whatever's happening for Yo, I mean, I listened to for the games on his stream and stuff like that. They're sticking to their setup roles. They're sticking to their positions and how they're actually going to play things out. So maybe if that kind of continues on, they can get into like top 5, What do you think?
I think that's a possibility. And with how things are looking right now in terms of Na'Vi kind of running away with a little bit now, but also it's kind of an open place to get a top 3. And if you're able to get a top 3, you might be able to squeeze a PGS spot out. You might be able to do that. And again, as I said during the cast, like if you can average 7, it doesn't matter. You don't need the wins. But if you can average 7 kills, you know, the way they're kind of engaged and the way they're aggressive, you're going to be up there. 7 average over 15 is 105 points. And 105 points last weekend was 6th place. No Slack had 101. So really good.
All right, well, let's listen in on some of the team comms here as all of these teams tried to tussle with good old Cantera Crater, but it was difficult against that high ground.
Gelsene sağla. Yeşilin üstünde adam.
Evet, gördüm.
Ben koşuyorum. Gel sıkalım aynı anda.
Bir canlı adam da low HP.
Sen ne dedin? Mermisi yok adamın.
Benim olduğum yere gelebilirsen iyisin. Neyse.
Alıver ya. Fake'den.
Smoke şeyi çıkar. Bak ona smoke
kulübe tarafında yine smoke yapıyorlar. Gazi şimdi o. Gitti kanka.
Shit sola bak. Arkada.
Yavaş.
Kim gelecek sol? Dikkat et. Pikle.
Nice.
2 ve 2. Uzak kişi. Arkadaki önce çıkıyor. Panzeri var.
Nice. Son 1
ve 1.
Yavaş.
Seli. Line light'la oyna.
Canı 1. Helal.
1 vur. 1. Nail tik basamaz.
Yapma lan.
Enti.
Difficult one there towards the end for X-Howl, but they did get at least a 2nd place here, Mark, and they can take some solace in that, I guess.
Yeah, and they came in on that sort of west side, and they were held at bay, and I think they were in sort of controlled by Na'Vi, and until Na'Vi went to fight them, that's when it was engaging. I would like to see them stack up a bit sooner. Obviously, saw the Mad come around that southwest corner and cause some damage. If there was 2 bodies there, maybe 3 bodies, they wouldn't have allowed Na'Vi to kind of back up and reinforce their trench position. So I think a lesson learned, but again, a good game from Exile. They find themselves in the 2nd place. Gutted they might not have got the win.
Yeah, I think it goes to show, even in just some of these final moments already, it shows in just 2 games, the terrain change is huge. Be it Twisted Mind surviving as long as they did in the Erangel game, or be it these little dips that you're carving out as well, Martin, here for Na'Vi to then win that game. It has huge ramifications on these fights.
It does, and what a comparison. I think we should have compared Hackator with a Ferris, maybe that'd be more fair.
100%.
But that's not. You can't do that and call it rivals, right? So it's good to see the banter up here, obviously. But after such a crazy game from Hackator, it's a little bit mean to be like this.
It's a tough one. Rivals, maybe, to try and get onto something like the Nations rosters, but at the same time, I don't know if anybody's competing with Ferris when it comes to the IGL role. Anyway, let's get to game number 3, as we have had an insane showing already from Na'Vi, moving into this 3rd match of the day.
Yeah, we are here in PEC Spring. It's the 2nd finals and the most important one of the year here. We're gathering PGC points to go to Esports World Cup, to go to PGS Circuit 3 and 4, and also, Mark, PNC slots up for grabs. And already we're having so insane games. We're only the 3rd of 15, but this takeover is about to go down, and Shipyard is kind of close, and I'm loving these northern circles.
Oh, Dangerous for Northern Surfer. Or if it goes that sort of northeast corner, we don't kind of know where it's going to end up, and that Peter slice goes towards that northwest, comes back over to Shipyard. Always intriguing. Playing is done. Pretty much everybody is out. This is the one map where we'll see a couple of teams get a little bit closer. A few changes, obviously, to the drop location. So Ascend obviously moving towards Fishing Camp, and obviously a backfill coming in from Team Nemesis early. So not too bad. 4 seconds away before we get to see the zone.
Yeah, let's see where this first server goes as Navi is continuing their onslaught for this one here. JOGA and BONITO is going to be on the receiving end, and Simon goes quick. Do they take his chip? I wonder.
100%.
Put it in the car and steal it.
100%. You know that's in there as well. He just had to give up, and Navi see the second target. Zone has gone down to the southeast, so we actually go all the way down to Songam. Interesting zone. The high terrain Buksang Sa is also in as well. So for a lot of these teams like Navi that are migrating that way, they might want to continue the pressure onto JOGA BONITO. Maybe you can hear the zone. What did the guy say? Is it the 9th wonder of the world that you've produced on PEC finals?
You use way too much AI, and stop telling our production to do these funny things. It makes me laugh as well. And I know the chat is loving my satellite-connected headphones here. I'm getting information from the aliens. I'm getting information from outer space with these ones. To be fair, it is the most comfortable headset I've ever had. But maybe tomorrow I'll look into a different option for tomorrow, just to continue the meme maybe. But Mark, I gotta point this one out though. This is the second circle where the circle barely touches the plane path, which is making so many teams having to make huge rotations, and also having to rotate through a lot of the other teams' paths. So it messes with the kind of timing of their strategy. It messes with the priority of where they're kind of going in here. So let's see how this kind of evolves with Yo already being posted up central, and JOGA BONITO being central, but having lost one player is going to have quite the impact.
Team Ascend, a good start from them. Are currently in 6th place. Shout out to old Gideon out there as well, giving the cheer for the German lads. I had to remind him that there are some other players from other nationalities in Team Ascend. But no, good start from the team, a very good start from the team, led by T-Bone. They've got to decide where they go, and I think for the zone, coming back to your point, the zone, it's going to be about timing, because obviously with so little of the zone touching the flight path, there's going to be a lot of choke points that these teams are going to bottleneck in. So it's a little bit of a risk versus reward, but I really like what Team Yo have done. They've already played to a central, I suppose, the southwest area. They've taken some compounds. I think they might chip away and see how much more they can take off.
Yeah, I'd like that. I mean, then again, like if they have a high prior spot here, they should take a 2-2 split and locking down some of those compounds. We know it kind of ends close to, or compounds where you have a great kind of fighting line where you know no matter where the next circle goes, you have a place to go to either fight or to occupy or to get points from. So it's kind of good here. Bushido Wildcats as well, also moving in from this northern side, but Ascend might be catching these guys with baseball gloves coming in from this other side. Let's see how this evolves and if they're going to be chasing them a bit away. T-Bone really setting up for some aggressive peaks here. Off for the rock here. So coming in.
There's a rotation, but he doesn't know. I think he just caught the tyre. Yeah, he got the tyre. Doesn't know about the other player. Now it's the momentum going. I think going to be caught out here. T-Bone looking to try and take advantage. Code Marco has lost the tyre, but he's found the new ridge. But it's Chris, M249 in hand, and he's a predator with some prey that's limping in front.
He might be able to find one here. These guys are just trying to pass on by and pass on through. That's more good shots coming in, not connecting damage-wise, but the car is battered, Mark.
Absolutely destroyed, but yeah, not enough to get the convert. It's Chris, took the ridge line early. We've seen this from Team Ascend sometimes, kind of a hold on this bridge, and I think that's why they're sort of pushing to their drop spot to be in that kind of fishing camp area, but it's one of those kind of, we spoke about it with Team Nemesis, one of those kind of telegraphed areas that the expectation is to have someone there. So nice move, actually. Especially Wildcats obviously used the ridgeline, used to train well. Yes, they did lose a tyre, but they're able to swap that car out and find themselves in safety.
Oh, more shots coming in towards Naleb. He could go down once again to copy here, but it's not happening here. The lockdown on the 2-2 split is greedy, but it's paying off. It's not worth with the information that they've had already, that at least 2 guys here. now that the fight has been happening for quite a while, they know it's 2, so they could go and say, all right, let's just take this combat away from these and get these 2 free points, because it's a really, really decent spot here, and it's kind of close to a rest station as well.
It is, and we saw it obviously when it first came out, the team started to reposition to some of those compounds, because those recall stations can make big changes. As we saw a big change from that pickaxe in that last game, actually made a big change towards Navi, be able to stay a little bit cool in the center, just in mine zone, staying calm, as S2D shooter does have the glider above, but it's more of an information gain. That glider's not coming out of the skies just yet.
I don't think so. He whips out a M249. If it gets too close, going to do some damage to it. And with this zone and how it kind of evolves, it's a lot of team that's going to be slow. One of the teams that is going to be slow is Hive, but they do have a glider. They do have a gas station where they could go and fill it up. Boosting this, get the confirmation onto Celtic here. And No Slack's going to be one of the last teams to leave this northern side. Especially with leaving the Yongchong bridge as comes across here. Kovalev and the guys are scouting to see if they can get bridge camped or not, but looks like they're not gonna be. This might be one of the kind of slower games with how everything is kind of evolving itself, but there's also so many areas marked there. Once you see the second and third circle pop, there is some god compounds that teams want to fight for and kind of lock down early. That's why the 2-2 splits are so ever prevalent here on Tego.
Especially for this circle, right? For me, obviously, you've seen so many of these. The water in that sort of northwest, we see it sort of play up to there quite a few times. But also Songam, we've got a bit of water down there. I know that
ljudi, šta se šavade?
Hard shift down or hard shift north.
Što je loša zona, braćo, ala loša zona. Uz obje ekipe baš loša, vidim. A da, evo, Fenix piše nikako razum. Da, baš loša zona. Ne može gore, brad. Dobro, vidjet ćemo sa shift.
PGG does push him away. Presenti managed to get a reload here. Still has a 3 vest. Oh, I like that. He puts the 2 helmet into the car to go and grab the other one here to have a spare helmet. A huge strategy you should be applying to your game as well. Make sure you stuff your cars with extra util, with extra helmets, and potentially guns if you need it.
And the pickaxe is the one. It's what you need to definitely get in the back of the cars. As we've seen so many plays, and again, even for that game number 2, kind of was that conversion for the potential that Navi actually was able to use the train to their advantage. And there's that recall station now. Team Vitality on the other side of the zone. They're out towards that east. No Stack, though, coming in that sort of north side again. South of Terminal, lots of splits, but they've got lots of drops, so they'll be able to take kind of a little bit of a break here and re-energize, restack those cars with level 3 armor and gear. But for now, 50 seconds.
Ja, znači, bukvalno najgori osjećaj na svijetu je doći do ovog dropa I naći DBS.
You have a big car with 400 capacity. That gun is crazy in close range. Hybrid scope as well. Oh, I wish the hybrid scope was a 2.5 or 3.5x instead of...
Samo su a jesu im uništili čip, Nikola? Šta bi snašao? Monika, evo ih tu su igraju. Jebro izgubio jednoga, to je bilo prije što sam došao. Ne znam da li su im izgubili čip, ja zna neko. Ili imamo šansu za čip.
I think 2.5 or 3.5 would be perfect in between, you know. So then you could also have it own slider. That the 1x is the 1x scope or
odlično,
da. So you can kind of have a different magnification.
Mislim da preformulišem pitanje, da li je čip kod našeg tima ili im je neko drugi uzeo čip?
It's going to go east. We're going to have some Ouyang. It's going to be this
gledajte shift Virtusa.
S2G looking poised for this one. Construction workers also
moram rećemo, znači ovo je ono što Joga ne radi, a mislim da im fali. Ali opet kažem, to je moje mišljenje. Ne mora da znači, dok momcima radi dobro. A kad momcima ne radi, onda mogu malo poslušaju. Ide Nino. Ide Nino, ljudi, Nino podmazao. Oh, this is
no Slag losing Kovalev here. Spyro finds it. More shots as well towards the other guys. Those are drops for these guys. They thought that the other teams are going to be leaving or trying to get into some of these areas here, but Nope, it's not gonna be it.
Täällä
Michael does
nema
find Pixelic here. Big fight
ala
between
constructionsi
Construction
nemaju
Workers and
sreće.
Right,
Oj, ide jole u lobby.
goes down though. Cappy is just
Brate,
on
kako
form
igra
today.
Kapi danas,
Whatever's
šta je
working
ovo?
for these guys, they need to try and stick.
Mislim,
I know
Navi
they
mu
changed,
dok
reconfirmed who's IGL 1,000 times over, but it is
Nice, 3 men,
looking
mogu
good.
oni.
Vard though takes his break. Vard does get Cappy down as Cappy gets that confirmation. But
A kako su ušli u fight uopšte? Gle VP-a, ide VP da čisti ljudi. Ide VP da čisti. O, Luka. Big Luka. Ide Nino, gledaj ga, direkt u meso. Ide Bimi. Kakva ekipa, bože, kakva ekipa. Gledajte kako oni čitaju play. Znam, ali korekcije nije dobio po glavi. Ne korekcije Luka. Dobro, ovaj bot za workere. 9.
We've seen an effective third party so quick as well. VP looking to climb the leaderboard, and that was telling to understand the kill feed read, understand the knocks, and was able to capitalize up in
Mislim da je Navi uzeo, nije Navi uzeo, a šta mu uzeo iz praznog boksa?
Hold on for the construction workers. They've got 1 point, but
Ajde, dogovorite se, vrate, skontamo. Nemaju, da imaju, možda imaju, a nemaju čip reći. Slow Jack je danas, sjećaš se šta je uradio Workersima prije u prvom meču.
Is he gonna back off and maybe go back to Salik? I think so. It would make sense. They have kind of hungered up inside this brick building and
inside his brick.
Now that's gonna have to be in a solo mission here. Is he gonna destroy some dreams on someone driving past? Somewhat of a landmine with this one coming in, but PGG locking down a 2-2 split on some of the 2 most valuable compounds currently, Mark. So they could have a good game. We've been talking about them being able to qualify from day 2 in playoffs, on both playoffs. Very impressed with that, but let's see how far they can take it here in the second finals, Mark.
Nice area. Bugtung's up. Mr. G worked their way in. Twisted Minds waiting. It's difficult to cross in with Sheila. It's a lot of terrain. He has to sort of disengage and work his way back on that low side. So that might be a bit of a standoff for a while. No slack though on that rotation round. They're kind of keeping Bushido Wildcats at bay. The zone shifts back down towards that southwest now. Team Nemesis had the ability to pick up a no again.
Ala loše zone za Virtus, braćo, znači baš.
Do they continue to hold? Because that south compound is super hard if someone wants to crash in.
Yeah, it is. It's not a 2-man compound, that's for sure. Bart now gonna try his hardest to find a ditch and a push to try to survive for as long, and maybe he can squeeze out a placement point with all the teams coming in from the northern side and the eastern side. So many teams are gonna try to fight at the exit of Butsansa. Vitality holding onto that eastern side, just west of Ouyang as well. JOGA BONITO coming in south. Surely Simon dives to someone here. He does not find somewhere to live and survive. He sees the ants down on the ground. He's so high up in the sky.
I think it's okay, because you've got to remember his team are coming in that southeast corner, so I think that's why he's been turned away. I think he's seen obviously the players there, so we'll have to wait and see. Construction workers though, Vard, he's not finding somewhere to go to ground just yet. He's finding somewhere to take him and his
Igraju na mobil i PC, na PC. Ovo je PUBG PC. JOGA BONITO, kristalni.
As well. But you know, Wildcats, they come for their crash as well as Levante launches a grenade but doesn't find any hope.
2 guys on other sides and they're going aggressively towards him. That's gonna be an easy peek here. Also gets found by Cold.
Koliko je težak refrag bio.
He tries to come in and backfill this fight here. The damage has already been done. Are they overcommitting to this fight or just trying to get the points off Bushido Wildcats quickly? One.
He's got points now. There goes another one.
JOGA 2 man up.
Someone request though.
JOGA uspjela da revive-a. Tako da ipak nije Navi uzeo onaj čip. Dobro je to Aris konto, ipak su čarape bile sa boksa.
He's separated, he's met a bait grenade. He's ready, doesn't know exactly where he is, but I feel like the second grenade is going to come into this room.
Good positioning here from below my bad. Picks up the Panzerfaust, can maybe get out. Get some
Promašio,
damage done. Swaps quickly over to Vard. Panzerfaust there. That's some quick swapping
dobar
on the
neće da bude,
observing
dobar
here.
neće da bude.
Medibe, lots of damage done to him.
Pobjegao je.
Another Panzerfaust picked up. This man has so many Panzerfausts I can't keep up with how many he has.
He's positioned, he's marked them all out. He knows the defensive plan. And not bad, has the bush in front of him, and unfortunately for him, he doesn't quite see the
Sreća pa ga
line
nije
of sight that he
desinko
wanted to.
sabrat.
Jedrox comes to the reinforcement, the spray
Molim.
comes through, the door obviously is open.
Ja,
though.
spectator
He does get
bug.
connection, reconnection comes through, spray comes through,
Extra,
14 HP here for Jedrox though, as he looks to try and go for the flash, doesn't go for the reload, now he's going to try and make the
Kako ga je
charge,
zajebao.
and he's down bodies in code marker, repositioned, and kill confirmed.
It's huge. Great play from Bushido.
Hvala, brate, pozdrav Makedonija. Ubavo Makedonče, Milenko. Ćao, ćao. Ćao, ćao. Direktore. Pobježena zona, braće. Pobježena zona, što se Virtusa tiče, dobili smo zonu što se Joge Bonito tiče.
Right moves now. I think Ascender got a bit of a blessing. That longer hold out for them, that longer rotation has paid off. They're actually now backing up towards the outside edge. T-Bone's made a call for a defensive play. Team Vitality down bodies.
Ljudi, Jogana mora biti treći, mora. A Virtusa mora biti prvi.
With so much attention drawn this way, Quizzy has to get locked.
Mada je Navi, ljudi, Navi je već na 30 bodova razlike. Ne do Bog da imaju još jedan dobar game.
Oh, great angle here from Quincy with the barrel.
Treba će to herojski nadoknaditi naredna 2 dana. Mislim, ima i danas još da se igra.
Sharks in the water and this eastern side trying to maybe third party, trying to maybe clean up and jump ahead of them, leapfrog into the circle, and eventually hold this team out. As the circle starts moving now, it's phase 4, 3 damage per second. It's gonna chunk a little bit and also be a little bit annoying here. Crossberg with the offhang. I think Quizzy has a great opportunity onto Crossberg here.
I think it's the first flash.
Oh,
The second will go for
what
the
a Diffix
charge
lobby.
their way forward though, but this is a two powerhouses going together. Boostic find Diffix though. Spray comes through on the other side. Sparrow pops the smoke. It's going to give him the cover. It's going to give him the opportunity now to move because he knows the information is being given here by Diffix.
Opa.
That's why the grenade
Koji
has changed
nade?
its flight path though. Grenade
Zamislite
goes
da je
back.
ovdje stari Nate bio, onaj pre-update, kad prema 2 godine.
Still providing critical information.
Sjećate se starog Nate-a.
Stick having found 3 points already for Navi now.
Spirao bi sad u komadiće bio. Sad je pitanje šta će igra VP. Vidjet ćemo. Evo ga VP. Protiv SLK, vidite ga gore. Rex je dobio kill. Nije Beam, nego Rex. Braća čitaju kill feed. Fantastično.
I do. I'm surprised because it's quite difficult to fight uphill, especially coming in quite late.
Opa, evo Simona, ljudi. O, ide Joga. Lagani bodovi, 4 kilića.
Nemesis though are down bodies. Navi going to be down to bodies himself. Exhale looks to try and charge.
Joga Bonito, braćo moja. Srpsko-hrvatski tandem. Ne zna se koji bolje puca.
Other teams are going to be setting up a hold outside their compound on the western side of it, as you see here. And Albertulins and the guys from Twisted Minds having a fight here with VP. Big teams coming in.
Brate, što je dobro ovo kad okrenu sliku na njih. A oni flašaju. Ovo nije dobro. Nix i Luka su pali. Svaki put kad su Nix i Luka pali, ova dvojica teško izvuku. Ostalo smo bez Virtusa. Koji nam je VP? 5 kilova su uzeli. Dobro je to, ljudi, to je... Oni su jedan game fail, ali da? To je otprilike... 5 po gameu, ali izgleda su jedan imali 0. Da, fans više nije pitanje, evo vidjeli smo.
Example hears him, throws a nade straight at the tree and finds IXC as well. Down to 10 teams now. Next zone pops. Look at this.
Odlična zona, gledaj to. I to imamo 3 na 2, brate. A Quick može da riješi mogu oni. I to na ovaj Havel, brate, brutalno. Ova Sen može da vina, vidite ovo.
Navi and construction workers inside, but it's the big team that's gonna collapse.
On može Sen da vina, ovi naši mogu biti drugi.
And PGG from the northern side that's going to be having an impact.
Možda mogu i naši vina tako Ascend izgubi nekoga. Sve će se sada javiti. Gledaj, iskopa drvo. I sad ti skontaj ovdje, brate, trava visi. Ti ni ne znaš da ovdje ima rupa, brate. Ti vidiš travu.
So good play from him. He should be able to try and survive out. Maybe eke his way in towards the placement points, but for Ascend, though, they push 2 in. They actually hold the outside edge, a very Ascend style of play, and here it comes into effect. T-Bone finds Sosadi, Keta also there as well to try and sweep it up, as they have to try and find angles.
Ljudi, znate li imali Ascend komse? Gledamo malo i Ascend komse. Oni vas imaju dobre, zanimljive komse. Doduše na engleskom jeziku. Ne znam da li ima iko povod. Dobar nade.
Good nade coming in from T-Bone. Does tons of damage.
Ima. Je li Navi GPT?
You always have tons of damage when you got his Christ not too far behind.
Jeste, trebalo da Navi GPT.
Really works out
A mora
very
bi Navi
Ascend
GPT.
style of play. They will work their way
Kili
in
streama,
on zone. The
odlično.
call is now to try and collapse Kirikai.
Ajde da gledamo, hoćete da gledamo to iz njihovog ugla.
Need to try and dig out the final player from Nemesis. He doesn't have to move. He just has to try and eke another point out this game.
Šta je sa 360p, nice. Pa nema komsa. Ma šta ćemo ovo gledat, brate, pa nema komsa, bo.
Stay it, and the last players of Nemesis goes down in 9th place outside the placement point. Now Hive and PGG is going to have a fight here in the northern side. Could be third parties from the center as well. Rox finds Sloyd Jacket. Great shot from him with the barrel.
T-Bone's on form. Gets another knock here. Knock should be there. The grenade goes over towards the top. Schengen, though, he's just on the receiving end of it. Spray does come through with a 5.56, and it goes back towards the grenade, but he can't hold for too long. I think he's just dropped as well. He's going to say goodbye. Grenade comes in from T-Bone. Damage coming in as well. Zalic down to 42 HP. Has to be cautious.
Yeah, he's been knocked, and also be the last player here. He's going to try to survive a little bit, but he gets found as well by Twisted Minds. Schengen gets the knock on this one here, and Salek is going to be confirmed. Look at this. Oh, there's a Panzerfaust confirmed on Salek 2, and now Hive down to 1 player.
Zubila ide na naše, Zubila ide na...
Ne ide, stave. With top 8, but not enough points for their campaign. They're currently in last place, Mark.
He did drop that grenade as well, so...
Bila na početku kad sam ušao, ja to ga biću.
Ja
ne znam što ljudi... Znači, nemojte da stream... Ja ne... Zašto ljudi streamaju ako nema komsa? Ko će bre to da gleda? Bukvalno koliko gleda ljudi zbog komsa, ono, zanimljivije ti gleda, brate, kad slušaš šta priča. Ja kao sad gledaš, ono, ne interesuje. Pogledajte vi šta je ovaj lik napravio. Trava je preko njega, ali još ima gili.
All right, southern side here, and the control that they have already on the northwest as well. The only bad thing for Ascent to have a bad game here would be to step on a Ferris that's already absolutely on form here. Staven does find Shipless, X-Howl.
Slaki Nagasaki.
Just a little bit. Already had some points here too. Simon does trying to find the confirm. He does.
Bravo, dečaci, 5 kilića, kako rolaju. 2 na 2 situacija, znači, ubiće Turke, neće Gromačut.
Yeah, especially Simon had to come back. The
Ma sen vina ovo, brać. Nadamo se da će naš izvući drugo mjesto, samo Turke dobiju.
Like we saw from the game before, it was Navi. Now Navi on the receiving end, but Ferris again, as we say, is a bit
ovdje može problem biti ako Twisted krene da čisti, mada ima Twisted šta da igra tu.
They have to be cautious. I mean, a little bit giveaway will be their car, so just to see as Ascend kind of break things down if they do pick up on that here.
Isto ko najšte s tim PG što igra. Ne znam šta skrive kad ih niko ne razumije si mu krena. Dobro, ima šta da se skriva. Ja razumijem da oni ne žele streamat. I to je okej. Ima šta da se, znaš, ima šta da se... Pa znate kad Saša Batulin streama, Saša Batulin je baš o tome pričao. On upali stream, skrimse ili šta god, sutra vidiš Navi radi sve isto što i oni. Jebeno je to kad si najjača ekipa, bukvalno svi kopiraju šta radiš. Ima tu, nije to baš tako jednostavno. Ali ako već odluče da streamaju, onda streamaj s komsima. Ako neće streamaš, nemoj streamati. Neka upale, znaš, ono... Ko će to gledati? Mislim, očigledno ima neko, čim ima 115 ljudi tamo.
4 kills, up to 17 points, a good start from this team.
Realno, Twisted čisti Havu i Joga trpartija. Ali sve to mogu, a dobro, ali opet može na replay da vidi, na replay može da vidi njihove odluke u igri, ali ne može da ih čuje što pričaju. Jer oni dok prije nego što zona popa, oni spreme taktiku za 6 shiftova. Fantastično. Oni će vidjeti replay na osnovu ovog jednog shifta. Ali čuju kako razmišljaju, razumiješ. Čuju šta pričaju. Daju gdje će trap da im napravi. Nije to baš tako.
Look at the control that Ascend has.
Ovo je idealna zona za ove naše, idealna. Ali sad treba dobiti fight. I mislim da će dobiti fight. Jedino je ovdje problem Twisted. Znači ne vjerujem da nam je Naval problem, Twisted nam je problem.
Excel have to move. I'll sends position. T-Bone does hold that
Ferris
south
će drugi
side,
završiti.
so he's going to have a lot of information, especially for any teams that try to wrap
Gdje je
out this
Ferris?
one, but I don't think they have the opportunity.
Misliš?
Excel,
A da
not
bre,
just
pa
smoke
bravo
ball,
zloma.
have to try and
Ali
launch
ne bi
their
nam
way
valjalo
forward
to
for
da se
Jog
desi.
Bonito. They're running out of heavy
bi bilo
util, but they've got
kancer
time
da
to
se
burn
desi.
because Excel have to come to
Aj
them.
promaši taj pancer, molim.
Panzerfaust in hand here, a little bit dangerous to be on the receiving
Ajmo
end
Simone,
from that on
ajmo
Simon.
Simone.
For another nade here, that might
To je
roll
najjače,
quite deep,
dobar
but
nade
it's
je
not going to be
bacio.
close enough for
Da bi onda
Nelka. He's
kurca
still
ne
off to
vidi.
the distance here. Blueson as well to deny any push here from this.
Pogledaj
They're
ovo.
playing two guys on same
Slavim
side.
bi
This
mogao ovoga
Bluson's
uhvatiti.
actually doing its perfect
Fake
job
nailup.
here.
Ovaj fake nailup,
for
brate,
Simon.
prodaja godine, lik.
And now the Panzerfaust gets pulled out again. 52 HP now, down to Nilka. He's going to have to still push and go forward with Panzerfaust through the smoke here.
Bravo,
Shots from
Slavko,
Blue.
bravo, bre.
Third party as well from
Šalji
Twisted
bre
Minds.
u
And
lobby. Ajde
Slaven
Joga,
finds
odmah
Nilka.
visi.
Huge points
Onda
here
znaš šta ne bi se
for
odmah
Bonito.
visi zvao. Ajde,
Elgin,
fleškić.
final player now for them,
Lagani
knows he's
fleškić,
got the
lagani
information on the
puškić.
other side.
O, ajmo
Twisted Minds obviously
white
in a high ground,
Op,
so
op,
he's not going
ajmo
to be
ruke
found
gore.
just yet. Twisted Minds are pushing down from that north, they're getting the cars.
To
He's going to
naloži,
pick up that
naloži,
Panzer,
naloži.
does get the shot over, doesn't quite get the connection they
Čekaj,
wanted,
malo to
swallowed
završi.
up by the Fabric. And for XHL, 7 kills, but it's down to one player in the top 5.
Ajmo Slaki, ajmo Slaki.
Makes Hal squeeze out a few more points to get this
Opa,
one. Simon
može
does
i
find
Twisted,
example.
može Simone,
Twisted
može.
Minds win for a third fight to try to go for
Može,
an 8,
Simone,
but he dropped
može.
the nade himself after being knocked, and that's a confirmed
Dobio je
to
bod,
Simon.
brat moj, 7
7
kilova.
kills for
Ide
Joga
Joga,
Bonito.
6. mjesto.
And now they just need to squeeze
Oni
and
ako hoćete
kill
ovo.
X-Hal to get Odin out here would be massive. That's a good angle he has
Malo je
there,
Simon
but
sad prodao
it's also
priču,
been spotted from
ali Slaven to
Slaven
rješava.
as well. He spotted one more.
Oh,
More
my
shots coming in. Great
Bravo,
shot from
Siki,
Odin.
bravo,
Oh,
bre.
Simon turns on him and gets
Gle
it.
Batulina šupka.
Love it.
Gle Batulina
Great
šupka što se
play.
spušta.
I like
bre.
that when people take the W key down and take the fight to them despite being down numbers. Ferris though, he's not got the
Zloma, naći
opportunity.
ga Chris,
He has
zloma.
to try and hide this one out and hopefully doesn't get spotted.
Jebama
Lou
majku,
doesn't want to
rusku
risk it. The
pičku.
Panzer will go in. It's a delivery and it's confirmation though. Jog Bonito will take 4th. Navi
Dobra, Joga
now in a top
5,
3.
ta,
Another
realno
point
će
going
biti
towards
6.
them. Twisted
Realno
Minds
će
down
Joga
for
biti
2
6.
and for Team Ascend it has been about control,
svi na meč.
control. They've ticked off now the West. They know their solo's about. They haven't quite found exactly where they are.
And I know it's 3 opponents left alive here.
Ferris drugi, brate, Zloma prediction, brate, zapratite ga svi na Instagram. Zloma prediction.
To go forward, here's massive. Big UK
Dojave za
player
kladionicu.
himself. I don't think they have any idea of Ferris' position. That little hole that he have been able to duck himself into with a full 3-gear setup.
Ma da je ova
Fam is
senca
gonna be
nešto vraća,
dangerous
evo
if
te,
they
možda bi
step
mogao
outside.
navi
But
u Ferris
he's
lobby
on the
zlom.
outskirts of the zone. He might not have as much impact as they hope
Uleti,
to,
brate, gdje leži lik.
not go into him here. Oh, Twisted Mind's been spotted. I know they know it's a 2-man. They probably know that Navi is the last player as well if they have a good match log and kill feed tracking here, Mark.
Yeah, there will be. And this, again, this is why we're seeing a sort of jumping around. But you got to remember, Ferris, there's no car there. He's come away from the car. It's a bit further afield. The drops are close as well. They're going to be a bit of a
Lik
distraction.
ispod
He's
mape,
just
bukvalno,
positioned himself
brate,
up
znači
against
šta
the
je
tree.
ovo, ljudi
And
nije
how much utility
PUBG
there's free
Unknown
grenades around.
Battlegrounds, ovo je PUBG Unknown Undergrounds.
And, I worry they're going to expel
Lik
quite a
ispod
bit
zemlje,
trying to
znači
find
tunel
him.
kopa.
For Ferris, though, he just has to sit tight. He's
Bata nije
storing
mrdo iz
zone.
grupe,
He
predobar je
just has
Deep,
to
nema
get ready
šans
and
da
wait till
fila jedan
someone
jedino.
rotates his way.
Recite mi, jel vam se sviđa ovaj cikl ili ne? Meni je ovo pre-OP. Znači, meni je okej nade da ti pravi rupu u zemlji, jer ta rupa bude šira i lakše je spotat. Ovaj cikl pravi ove fox holove koji su užasno teški, brate, užasno OP. Ne znam.
Oh my god, it's Chris finds Lou.
Jesi ti naći tako smiješno, pa nek banoj, brate, nekog ovog lika. Ovog malog peđu. Ne staje durability, bit će ben. To bi bilo baš dobro rješenje, staje durability na svi. Kad je duže, prosto on će njih riješiti, ja će magat. Loma prediction. Ascend vina. Koliko Joga imala kilova, brzo Asterix, koliko Joga imala kilova, ba ti. Ljudi, koja je kvota, brate, da nam kaže koliko imala kilova Joga.
What a way for Ascend to get a chicken dinner on the third map.
That's right. Rise, my champions, here on Tego. Fantastic to see them being able to take all of the west side and being able to run with it as well. A problem that Navi does exist into the very late stages of the game, considering how many points they already have. But yeah, I think Ascend was able to really lock down good sways of land.
Da će izbjegne ovu životinsku formu.
You can see both those teams with definitely kill feed tracking. They understand their solos. Look from Ascend, they like to go for this kind of 2-hold. They always keep a 1 or 2 by the blue zone as well. When they have to collapse, really good play for them. But they never drop the ball. They're constantly looking behind them. They constantly know there's individuals.
Evo te svi sikl nose. Nekad se pen nosio, vrać. Bili smo iz fazona nosimo pen, jer jedan metak može zalutat, možete spasiti. Sad svi sikl nose, kopaju tunele.
Don't have any more nades. Trying to dislodge him with a FAMAS sometimes gets a bit tricky. But of course they had plenty still left in the tank there, Martin, to be able to shut him down. And this is important, right? For Ascend, it's not one of the names that we kind of brought up in terms of challenging for those positions, but they've already got a decent number of PGC points on the board so far. If they make a run for it here, they could be the ones moving on towards EWC as well as
Brate, zaista da je fair istriješio Foxcall game, gle bombi. Koliko je Ascend skočio sa ovih 7 kilića? 17 poena. Koliko to zapravo njima znači?
Especially with the 17-point game they get here, but there's 3 other teams that get double digits still. Twisted Minds is scary for the prospect of them knowing we knew they get
ljudi, razlika 6 poena između Joge i Vitalitija. A realna priča, znači ako se juri bilo koja ekipa, dobro je da se jure ove dve ekipe, jer ti ne znaš, danas će odigrat dobro, sutra mogu na 0 bodova biti jedni i drugi.
Navi's at 45 points so far.
Će nam je Virtus. Virtus je... Evo ga, 10 pojena. 10 kilova, braći imaju 0 na place. Aj, ja. Braća 0 na placement imaju. 10 kilića, sve našake. I nema si Storm on request. Ja ne znam kako su ovi ljudi prošli, majke mi nije mjesto. To vam je taj, 5 mečeva RNG, što vam upadne poliveni, pozivani, pa evo, ne znam ja, Šišo.
Yeah, and sure they're going to get some points throughout the last game.
Virtus uzme minus 15 kilova, lagano i tu smo da. Ma, Virtus je trenutna ekipa. Sjećate se ono kad smo ranije gledali Twist, mislim ranije, ono kao da sad nije tako, ali realno je Virtus sad ta ekipa. Ranije kad smo gledali Twisted Minds, a ljudi ono gube 70 poena, a ti si se ustolo, ne smiješ da kažeš da neće osvojiti turnir. Jer si gledao 46 puta prije toga da braća 70 poena su u zaostatku i vine. Turnir, E sad je Virtus taj ekip, znači ja uopšte ne razmišljam o tome da on neće prvi biti, taj fazon. Ali ono što me brine, jer to ovi imaju, dobra, sad je 45, na 30 koliko su imali, 37, jel, koliko su imali prošli meč, to je bio problem, sad ovo već je manji. Ali ne valjalo da ovi podivljaju, makar danas do kraja dana.
Coming off the back of that, when you listen to their comms, it's all about overloading areas. So they'll be like, right, take this person, fight green, fight yellow, whatever it might be. And you can see
inače, ja sam prije otišao po Coca-Colu, ali sam zaboravio da uzmem. Respekt.
It's never about a one-on-one fight with
a dobro, Navi kako krenuo, bit će već. Da. Ali ovaj game, gledajte ljudi, bio je 37 poslije 2 gema, to je bilo zabrinjavajuće. Sad je Fair i solo izvukao. Ferist je ovo solo izvukao sad, tako da je to okej, znaš. Nek se muče do kraja tako i možemo ih stići. Dulik za 5 dana rece kranke, da, rezervisao sam kapija za off-stream mečeve, a na streamu ćemo odigramo s našim ljudima. Da. Ali iskreno šljuka, ne znam koliko mi se igra Recek više. Znaš, kasno Marko na Kosovo dođe. Malo je kasno za te promjene koje smo im tražili prije 6 mjeseci. Tako da ne znam, probat ću, jer baš volim Battlefield. Ali ono, trenutno ima toliko dešavanja u PUBG-u, ono da... Više mi se gleda PUBG nego što mi se igra. A sad ide, baš ide dosta. Ide nam PGS, pa nam ide EVC, pa nam ide PNC. Ili obratno, PNC, PNC, šta god. Pa onda Petsfall. Šta ide onda? Onda ide ENC pa PGC, ja sam dobro, možda sam nešto soći. Ali baš ima ono, narednih pola godine nenormalno. Cijelo ljeto će bit turnira. Onaj Page ta lik radio, reći svaki game 15 kila meni. Da, Page ti. A da, Page ti tu svakoj igrici, realna priča. Ali to je, Page ti je igrač koji je ono dedicated 400%. Znači, on igru koju uzme da igra, ne postoji osoba na planeti koji će da igra više od njega, to sigurno. Što, zašto je kao? A meni ili njima?
Unfortunately, Martin's headphones had soaked up all of the team comms.
Dobar, baš je dobar. Što je način, kad su svi prestali igrati Battlefield, on je nastavi igrati.
For sure. But yeah, I think that if we were going to be listening on those comms, Mark, I think what you were saying before was very on point in that, like, what we would have heard from, like, Ascend, for example, is oftentimes T-Bone very clearly kind of outlining how he wants things to be done, and the team actually really following it very well.
Yeah, it's back to you guys. Take the mix. I've got the same accent as him. It's always clear communication. Overload here, take the fight here, and it's not like high technical, but it's clear and direct. And I think that's what this team needs. Obviously, you've got the ingest of Keta. He seems to be the bulky king at the moment. It's Chris and T-Bone playing together really well in that last game, and Kirikai able to hold an angle by himself, kind of being that rock. And I like that Kirikai and Keta sort of bounce off each other. One of them will go for the hold outside, and the other one looks into the zone. But you got to remember, that's all being delivered by T-Bone. T-Bone's telling him exactly where to go, and the rest of them are just giving bits of information, but it's always calm from that team.
Mislim, oni su generalno svi cool ljudi. Ja, mene malo istiltaju jer ne znam što pričaju. ISKR, ono. ISKR. Čujete i sami je. Mada, znaš, u njihovu odbranu nije lako non stop pričat. Ali baš ono krenu da ga lupaju, ono ko maksim po diviziji. A vidite, recimo, gledajte ekipu Kapije, u PODD, Michael, James i Kapi. Znači, svaki put kad smo ih gledali, kad smo gledali njihov POV, oni su divljali. I vidite 13 kilova. I zašto kažem divljali? Znači, oni imaju 0 placement poena. Ako skontate, 13 kilova ima ovo, 10 kilova ima Virtus. A pogledajte ovo, Ascent koji je drugi ima 14 kilova. Vitality koji je treći ima 13. Znači, ima isto kilova. I to. Znači, razlika je samo u placement poenima. I zato je ovo jezivo kad su ovakve ekipe iza vas. Zašto znaš da kad dobiju zonu to je GG. Znaš, ne znaš ko te juri. Ođe da je Nodi uspio dići Slavena, jel? Ali njega je iz daleka ubio biješ, tako taj fazu. Ako budeš igrao zove Tusa, može, igrat ćemo. Igrat ćemo. UDD. Igrač 100%, znaš, najavili su ona 2 turnira od po 2 miliona, što su open i close serije, što su trebale se desiti u decembru, pa se nisu desila zbog tragedije. Kad im je poginuo onaj direktor, sjećate se one saobraćajne nesreće. Direktor je poginuo i to je derailalo sve. I onda su oni najavili kao da se vraćaju tim njegovim planovima sad od maja. A vidjet ćemo šta su bacili. Znaš, pitanje je sad, Šljuka, da li je kasno? Znači, to je najveće pitanje trenutno, znaš. Da li je kasno? Jer ranked mi je bio dovoljan pre 6 mjeseci, sad mi neće biti. Znači ako ubace samo ranked, a ne bude nekog leaderboarda, nekog razloga za tim grindom, znaš, meni nije dovoljno. A samo ranked ubacit je bilo ok pre 6 mjeseci. Znaš, pa da sad u ovom trenutku ubacuju leaderboard, ubacuju price pool, ubacuju nešto. To je bilo ok, ali sad ubacivat samo ranked bez ičega, boga mi teška priča, jer su oni imali 70 miliona, 60 miliona igrača su imali. I šta su pali na, ne znam nija koliko, možda 2 miliona. Koliko, na Steamu imaju tipa 50-60 hiljada igrača, maks. Ne znam da li ima toliko Battlefield na Steamu, je baš sada im reći.
A city that don't belong to anyone, but everyone wants a piece. No laws, no oversight.
Ma kak, 36, ajde. 40. Sad skontajte, znači koliko su imali, 60-70 miliona igrača. 656 je bio pik na Steamu, što znači da si na Steamu imao nekih možda milion i pol, ajde da kažemo 2 miliona overall, ako je 656 hiljada aktivno. Znači, eto da kažemo 2 miliona koji su u rotaciji. A ovo im nije, Steam im nije glavna platforma, nego ono, ne znam, možda je najlošija. I ako su oni sa 650 pali tu, recipročno je isto i na ostalim platformama. Nemaju više od milion igrača, 100%. E sad je pitanje, kad se desi red sec, kad ubace ranked, da li će ovo da skoči? I da li će skočit se sigurno, ali da li će se zadržati, to je pitanje. Znači, da li će taj ranked biti dovoljan, to je pitanje. Ja znam da meni neće. I 19 sekundi je sljedeći, imaš ljudi, ide napuni kole.
Всех приветствую. Расскажу о своих любимых скинах. Куртка PGC 2025. Ассоциации с тем, что мы прошли на турнир. Групповую стадию. Перчатки ивентовые, фейбокс. Приятное сочетание топ. Яркая, нежная, стильная, молодежная. Штаны стримерские, похожие на слаксы, но на оригинальные слаксы денег нет, и плюс эти больше подходят под куртку PGC, поэтому их ношу. Ласты — это моя фишка, вот. Если видеть человека в ластах, это мой фанат. Балаклава тоже какая-то ивентовая, была куплена, очень подходит под сет. Любимый скин на оружие у меня это Аук, Прогрессив Аук, G-Dragon. Мне нравится, как выглядят скопы на нем на 9 уровне. Вот ярко-бирюзовый цвет, очень нравится. Также коллиматор, голограф 2х, 3х, 4х.
G-Dragon, der Ubermensch, as we have 2 games left here. And Ascend actually was able to get the previous win, so that's fantastic to see. We've got Rondo as well as Erangel coming up here for our next 2 games. It felt like the rich got richer in some of these previous ones, though, as Na'Vi still sat at around 45 points. I say around exactly 45 points, actually, Mark. So they're doing very well for themselves.
Sen being consistent with 14 and 40 on 28. So it's good. Look, the rich is getting richer. I think these teams now need to identify that they've got to take Na'Vi out. They can't let them run away with it. Day number 1 here, but everyone is still fighting. I like the aggression from Yo. Interested to see what they continue doing. They are unfortunately unable to find placement points, but we've seen teams like them and JOGA BONITO be so aggressive that they kind of negate placement and they just try and find as many kills as they can.
And you guys can try and find as many extra G-coin as you can over on social media. You need to complete the code. You go on a treasure hunt. So it will be on social media somewhere to finish the code. All you've got to do is go and get that and get yourself some cheeky G-coin, Martin, which is always lovely. We love some G-coin. I've not really had much to spend it on, though, recently, because I've got everything. That's a pretty good problem to have, isn't it, actually, now that I think about it?
Max level progressive and everything. You're just hoarding up the schematics. There's some good skins coming as well, so you gotta make sure you have 30 schematics laying around.
The Harley Davidson is on the way as well.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually the Harley Davidson they showed in the picture. I was like, I've never seen that Harley Davidson. So is that a real Harley Davidson? I need to look it up, actually, Mark. I'll find out.
Yeah, sounds vanicky.
Mark has one.
No, I wish. Oh, I'm not
Midlife crisis about to happen.
that is coming with the grey hair. Grey hair and the amazing Harley Davidson coming my way.
Yeah, of course. You're hitting that age of midlife crisis. Got to get that on board. These boys, though, they are nowhere near their midlife crisis. Good old T-Bone and Example rivals as we head into the next match here. For Rondo, what are you expecting, Martin?
I do expect, the usual fun stuff at Test Track. I think we're going to come in and we're going to have some fights around it. We've had so many circles. I've had quite a few ranked games in there as well. We've had so many circles that's been in and around that Test Track area. So let's see what happens with that one.
All right, let's do it. Game number 4 here so far. Na'Vi leads with a huge charge. And of course, they're one of the teams that seizes Neox Factory on a map like Rondo, and it normally pays dividends for them. I'm going to be casting here with Mark to bring you the penultimate game of the day.
That's the opportunity. I thought he was going to say what you expect. I thought he was going to say something about those condos or bongos again. Flight path though is at west and towards the southeast. For the last 2 games though, it doesn't really matter too much. The zone has to touch that flight path, but it goes packing the other way. So maybe we see that northeast, maybe we see Test Track being in the center of the zone.
It's a toughie. I see No Slack was initially dropping in exactly the same direction, or at least Kovalevi was, as Pixelic. So I thought maybe he was going to try and challenge for a vehicle there, but it's not to be the case. He's just taking his own and then moving probably to the rest of the team as well. So no conflict just yet for anybody in those kinds of vicinity. As Yo, I wonder how... If there's a challenge on a vehicle for them against Na'Vi here, because sometimes that does get challenged on the east side of Neox Factory.
Yeah, they are pushing Na'Vi that way, right? And obviously the headphones didn't predict exactly what we needed, but in the right direction. But yeah, for Team Yo, they are kind of pushing Na'Vi back to kind of Neox Factory, but with this zone, Na'Vi, yes, arguments say they could maybe push out for the vehicle. They might want to go for that north one and secure that before Team Yo.
As standard could be for the circle here from Rondo.
Joga, dobra zona, ljudi, dobra zona za Jogu.
And again, it's actually a big problem for the rest of the lobby because Twisted Mind and Na'Vi have an incredible win record from these locations. And then once the circles bear down on these kinds of spots, it makes it even more apparent. As for Virtus Pro, they're slacking a little bit on the start of everything. But, that can happen. Teams can have a bad 3 games here and there. But if you think back to when they were having a crazy games and crazy day, all of it really culminated here near Test Track when they were able to defeat Twisted Minds after pushing through Neox Factory in that previous
Neox
week.
Factory?
Sorry, firing all cylinders, are they? But
they
can have moments of glory, rises to glory, as we say. We'll have to wait and see. Na'Vi on the other hand, though, have started so well. 45 points here. We're on game 4, the penultimate game here for day number 1. And Ferris is so locked in, you can't even see his eyes. Eyebrow Ferris.
It's the Gustav angle, if you recall.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
they've got to deal with that now in NA.
Yeah, idiots. But at the same time, hey, of course, PAS is going to be happening as well here throughout the weekends, and Falcons is basically going to be defending their championship from last time around, right? So
yeah,
Gustav clearly a good pickup, as much as we've inflicted them on the Americans.
I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad to say he's gone. He's only gone to the other side of the pond. We're going to see him still.
Možda i moj ovdje ne treba isukaraš. Možda su mogli ovo da se prokurče.
Good to see. Obviously, they didn't qualify.
Pa da igraju ovo dolje na B.
Qualified here now for the second week, and they are kind of finding their way. But definite impact. But
ali možda je bile krašanje.
He's on the Falcons. I think
Better safe than sorry.
Really interesting to see how they kind of play out the rest of the 2026.
Especially on LAN, right? I'm actually a bit distraught about the Gustav situation because he was playing some games with Tiggleton, and I was in the chat trolling away as I do, and I said, they were talking about the sensitivity that they changed to and stuff like that I messed around with, and Gustav had said he'd changed to low sense, and I said in the chat, it's a good job he's changed to low sense because his brain is low sense. Anyway, Tiggleton relayed that information to him, and then he was really nice to me, and I was like, oh, for God's sake, I'm throwing zingers your way, and you're being nice to me after the fact. This is ridiculous. I love those boys.
It's not how the banter works, lads.
No, come on, hit me back. Call me a ginger, I don't care.
I love it. I was always told if you can't play your cast, and that's why we're sitting here.
That is very, yeah.
So, for the other side of things, though, for teams that are playing now, STG, a start, and maybe not the strong start that they wanted, but they are sitting down on that lower side. That is drawn up between them, Hive, and Team Nemesis. And again, Nemesis worries me, a team which is expected to be higher, but haven't got the car rolling just yet.
No, not at all. They're showing us signs I can't read, all right? Like... Observers!
Vidio sam što pisao nešto Magic, ali sam morao odem. Koliko te pa meni lično nema smisla. Ne znam, možda do mene, ne mislim se kažu to. Haj iz Kantera da si igra u tepu. Zamisli Kanter da si igra u tepu.
We're having a lot of fun here.
I wonder what people prefer, the El Calaris or the headphones, Martin. We'll have to
100% the headphones, Martin. Come on.
Get the poll in chat.
Nema nikome, moj Magic. A šta se radi?
Man can hear the future. We just realized. Like,
well, he's a bit off. He hasn't got the bloody zone. He asked him for it. Or he's keeping it close to his chest. He didn't want to give it away. We know what Martin's like. He can be a bit sneaky.
No doubt. And see if Vitality can be sneaky. They're trying to thread the needle over on this west side between some of these teams at the moment. Although Ascend is coming in north of them, so they're going to have to be a bit careful. Maybe there'll be some shots traded. Blow. There's no slacks just south of them as well. So they're definitely trying to wiggle on through.
So they're wiggling through now. As it is going to be about sort of that positioning that you get from this zone. Interesting. We see Bushido Wildcats very much on the north side. They're going to have a free reign. I like STG's position on that south to southeast because they'll try and hold out. PGG chasing down VP. VP have constantly been in early engagement. Now, admittedly, the last game they were taking the third party, but this time Beamy's losing a bit of traction. He's lost 2 wheels. He's able to keep it straight. But for Presenti, the question is, does he chase it down? And Beamy is not a player you want a blind push.
I can't imagine having to try and drive that out of danger's way. Yeah, poor Beamy. But he does manage to get out. And he, you know what? To the salvation of a Pico, the haunting presence of a Pico, the strength of a Pico. Oh, I'm okay with that. Correx has done him good there.
Keep the bodies up. No slack though, finding the bodies, they'll find safety, but no slack already here. They reposition now here in the cars, working their way in. Actually though, has been split off. And I feel like a bit of a 1v1 battle between him and Hella, my bad.
Ne. Ovo je brzo prošlo iz ne udara, da. Ma dođi na Nixija, poloj mu zube, Nino.
Great headshot on the drive-by. That was actually disgusting from Nixie.
Jel Nixi vratio na high sense?
A bit of a rough time in the previous games. Not bad at all. Helmet flying right on off there for PGG. And this is all on the south side at the moment of this.
Ali postoji objašnjenje zašto se igra zbog gazi, pada zbog gazi. Pa neće se desiti, jebi ga PUBG na početku bio samo TP, pa samo dali TP i sad se opet TP.
think PGG was trying to reposition maybe to try and get themselves a blue chip back if VP was
mene to isto nije ne zanima.
VP prihvatio sam to kao tako i... Any blue chip anytime soon for the boys.
Ili ću igrat ili neću igrat.
I think that's a statement.
Meni to ne znači. Nije mi ono deal breaker. Sranje, ali...
VP are flexing their muscles and...
Možemo mi sad polemisati ujut.
That cool. Now they can position themselves to the south. Construction workers coming in that southwest
Joga
corner as well. Do they get
Pogledajte
caught up
Virtus kako zatvara Ivić.
on this aggressive stance that the Polar Bears have taken? And so far, a lot of the other teams, though, just a little bit of early engagement, a couple of shots.
Vidjet ćemo.
Mostly everyone is in position now.
Ovo smrdi na dobar game.
Taking a wide position.
Still just the Bushido Wildcats coming in north, but at the same time, I think that they know that there's probably some room on the north side of this circle, right? Based on the playing path, based on where the circle popped, based on everybody's kind of trajectories into a circle like this, I think Bushido Wildcats feels no pressure whatsoever to approach the north side of a circle. Construction Workers, on the other hand, on the south side, is trying slowly to make some choices, as they might have been trading some loot here and there before actually moving on in. You know, you want to be fully prepared, fully kitted, ready to go.
I think as you enter the zone, you've got like 4 cars driving towards you. It's like, oh, let's go back. This may be not the entry point that we want to take.
Yeah, VP, yeah.
We are 47 seconds away before we see where this phase goes. So at least for Construction Workers, they should be in transit as the zone hits, and that would allow them kind of maybe some of the time have a bit of a head start to some of the teams that might have already been positioned down. The other way to do a head start is an emergency pickup from Team Vitality.
Ja bih skratio jednu zonu, barem ja... Tako je, ja bih isto to uradio. Ja bih skratio prve 2 zone, povećao bi loot puta 3 ili puta 4, jer realna priča, loot je ono što te sprečava da odeš brže u rotaciju. Povećao bi loot puta 4, samo bi skratio te prve 2 zone, ostalo bi ostao isto. I to ti puša meč sa nekih 30, maks, koliko je maks 32 minuta, jel? Koliko je maks, ne znam, jel? Prosjek je obišao 28-29. Jebi ga, okej. Ajmo dečki, Agrosad, preskočite sve.
They're the only team to potentially take it as well. They have gone for it as well, so they are now airborne.
Virtus,
but look at the migration from the south. Minox Factory, though, is just on the south side. I think a lot of these teams in the south expected to go there into the fields where they are now. But there's going to be huge amounts of kind of jousting as these teams have to find entry points on the south side of the zone.
I think Vitality's licking their lips, man. I think that they know that there's a huge opportunity here for them to be able to get a lot of points on board if these teams have to position around those pillar positions. Let's see, though, if they do to go for that. There's now PGG going to be driving on past, so is S2G as well. Everybody driving past Test Track and Neox. The thing is that teams are going to try and take residency underneath the pillar as well on a circle like this. And that means that actually it sort of defends that position from other teams around if this comes to pass here for Vitality. I'm really interested to see what they do.
It's kind of an agreement, isn't it? Like, they sit below, people can't get to the base.
Mogu bi Virtus iza Joge da prođe sad,
above. Team Vitality are going for the high ground, so they have
Joga je stala tamo, tačno tamo gdje sam mislio će stanu. I što je brutalno. Opa, kristalni, ljudi igra kristalni s ovim karabinom.
From that point, JOGA BONITO does find, though, no slack over. It will be confirmed out multi.
Balkana.
Construction Workers, though, go full send as they do thread the needle between kind of our team nemesis and.
Ali ne čitam na Twitch. Prebaciti s vama. A ne znam, Luka Niksi, Nino mi je najbolji igrač ubedljivo. A dobro, on je generalno najjači igrač u Europe. A Luka, Nino, Luka, kristalni možda odbio tim.
As now Vitality has been able to take the spot. It's like the eye of Sauron looking down on Mordor for the rest of these teams. You don't want to be caught in the eye.
Obviously, it's phase 2, you've got phase 3, but the water in the northeast corner might have a big impact here. Look, it's a roll of the dice. I think for them, they're in such a good spot. They just need to try and hold on to another zone and then farm the amount of long distance. They need teams to come closer to them. There's a little bit of a valley in front. Failing that, James, they're going to farm so much information. They're going to understand the lay of the land when it comes to this mid-game.
Of course, there is always the problem of, eventually, circles are likely to shift away from it, right? So you've got to weigh up the risk-reward of everything, right? Okay, yeah, we can shoot everything, but we might have to move. That being said, though, we have seen circles have a hard time drawing and then it being included in phase 4 onwards anyway. Even this same pillar mark, right?
I say, this is that pillar. Remember, we saw that split from VP on the south side. It plays across to the
Sad sam skonto da nisu split odradili, ljudi. Ovo je možda greška. Oni su svi na onom šeku jednom. Da, možda ne znaju. Imaju iza sebe, imaju platform koji mogu da igraju. Možda čak i 3-1 da igraju 1 na šeku. Evo ovdje bukvalno.
Finds a mortar position right on top of his head. Now comes a secondary.
It's a max
distance though, and it is being sent to the heavens.
Ovdje tačno na bijelo, na promjenu terena. Tu tačno u bijelo. Imaju platicu koji mogu da igraju.
What? The fact that he just hit a 700-meter mortar shot is absolutely barbaric.
A ja metkom ne mogu ovo pogoditi, on mortalom gađa.
4 all into the same place.
Holy.
Yeah.
That's rare. You don't get that often. That's crazy. Okay, well, that's a scary circle shift, because now we feel like it's not going to be holding on to the pillar. There is room for this circle elsewhere, right? In theory.
I don't know. I think Vitality are happy here.
Ovdje ima rupa, ova rupa ovdje je brutalan spot.
That position that they've got, they just need to keep an eye on.
Ali problem ove rupe tu, ako se iskopa može se igra, ako se ne iskopa sa brda vas uništavaju.
But again, it's going to be a bit of a joust off here. We're going to see teams go head to head. It's a bit more of a race now as Virtus Pro yet again.
Ljudi, Virtus nema sreću danas sezona, može se reći. Doduše ne može se reći, imali smo prvu.
Jeez Louise, okay, but yes, this is definitely one way to traverse some of the terrain at the moment here. What are the pandas going to eat now? As now Kirexi here.
O, brate, kaj dogovoriti se koga ćemo gledat. 7 ljudi su promijenili sekundu. Bravo, Lule, bravo, Lule.
Taking down Kiliakai in the backside as well. This is good stuff by Virtus Pro. They've got to get themselves back on the board here in terms of points.
Bimi je baš u problemu.
This round it might be the Polar Bears.
Bravo, Nino, ide i Bimi. Kako ga izbio?
Oh my god, Bimi gets his Chris distance though. And they're trying to find safety, gets that confirmation where he can. And for the rest of the Sendo, they might have a win, but they've got to try and use the counter to man.
Vitality has totally gambled on the idea of this circle going north now and actually stayed back in and went to the pillar after they've all now left from the pillar position. So definitely a lot of people eyeing up those northern positions. Mogor hitting JOGA BONITO with a mortar as well. Baron kind of cleaning things up, and it looks like
Bushido
Wildcats is on what is a pseudo pillar position right there up alongside the one on the west side here.
Yeah.
So technically they can shoot a lot of people moving past them, but they don't quite have the position of power that they would want. But they do have the BRDM.
Yeah, you go even without the BRDM.
Virtus odlučio na tu north stranu.
They're going to lose it coming from the west because of the steepness of the terrain.
Ali teška priča da ide shift na njih. Jedino ako nije ideja da se čisti ivica, jer znaju da nema nikog sleđa.
The problem they have is going to be the high ground versus high ground. They're going to take farm damage across the other side. They just want to keep this BRDM safe and just watch anyone that kind of comes in from the west.
This next circle is going to be very telling. Slapson also mortar in hand. Everybody's trying to line up the big shots, aren't they? Seeing if they can try and catch out Twisted Minds coming in from test they needed some kind of checkpoint positions to go to.
Nije daleko
Slap. Already cleared up here by Perfectix and Betulins to allow the others to eventually move on forwards.
Water's coming back though. Twisted Minds let them know that got things zeroed in.
Ovaj plato što igraju Construction Workersi, to je po mom mišljenju trebalo JOGA da igra, ali dobro. I dalje imaju previše opcija na ovu zonu.
Just finding safety. It's very getting information now where Team Nemesis is, but you go
jedan kill za sad kristalnog, a vidite ovo što Turci igraju. To je možda JOGA trebala senda, ali oni samo ne igraju tako. VP je dobio taj North Shift, imaju ovdje šta igrat.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because if Vitality ended up having anybody crash on them a little bit earlier on as well, you've got the res station there straight away. So just in case something was to go down, you're even safe in that regard into some of the even the later moments of this game. As now, yeah, hands of Faust's in hand. I think everyone realizes that there's going to be a lot of movement coming in from the south side. So everybody's got their things ready to go to try and greet teams as they do move forwards. Kennis providing information. Levante knocks Michael in the distance as well because Yo is being shot at by multiple teams here. They need to get some fortification down, and they are doing with some of this deployable cover.
Yeah, I feel like Kessie was trying to have a look to see if their knock was in front of him. I don't think he's got the information yet of who that is. Shots are coming in. Obviously, their grenade would have gone off. I think that would have given him that confirmation of who it was. So CD with the M249 takes the knee, takes the belly down as he wants to try and control that recoil. The team Navi will rotate his way around. get caught and lose momentum. It's so steep. Well, he takes the
Nemesis je u dosta dobroj poziciji jer imaju stajeda na vrh planine gore. Sav info imaju.
Too much done just yet. And also, actually, he doesn't have that much ammo for an M249, just so you're aware. He had like 150 bullets, yeah, but on an M249, that goes quick. So he could have to be a bit careful.
Oh my God.
Another mortar. This is just Mortars, the video game. Are we playing Worms?
This is,
Worms. Ljudi, sjećate od igrice Worms, kako se ja to volio.
Only one come through from Team Vitality. There's no follow-up, so for Team Yo, they have able to get the body back up. For Ascend, they do back away now as they go back the way they came from. Twisted Minds, though, losing not just one, but two, as Perfectix and Lewis down.
Joga uzela kamp, jel ovo Joga uzela kamp? Da, Joga uzela kamp, ljudi. Ovo je odličan play. Da bit će malo problem protiv Turaka.
But it's going to be not just a molly, it's the shots that come through from Dante. And this is the problem when you go down and you dig deep.
Ovo je savršenstvo, gleda kako oni bacaju ovaj YouTube.
Proper destruction for construction workers. An absolute demolition crew coming in and taking down their buildings. This is brutal. As for now, Hive also kind of buzzing around on this side, trying to see if they can get in, but the circle is pushing at the moment. Examples trying to hold them out alongside the boys here from Twisted Minds. There's only Batulin's on that north side, I think.
Vidjet ćemo samo kako će da izađu iz ovog kampa. Tu imaju prednost Turci, ali Turci ne mogu igrati od Nemesis previše otvoreno.
Batulin's is going to tuck tail and leave.
I love them. Twisted Minds, that they build momentum. You see them getting going, and a team comes by and goes, "Nope, we're not letting you guys activate. We want to keep you down numbers." Batulin's has to disengage now. He's the final player. He's going to find himself centralized zone as we go back towards the fight on the south, which is Team Nemesis.
Kapi je bio nokan 7 puta.
This has been continuing, not just this game.
Ali mislim da ga ne mogu flasha.
For Nemesis, on the low side of the leaderboard, they're only on 8 points. They're desperate, eager.
Simon, ide Simon.
Yeah, this is not the first day that they wanted. Not only that, it's not the first day that they're capable of, right? Like they're capable of so much more than this. As now, Hive still moving in. They've got JOGA BONITO, I think, on their heels a little bit.
Podiće ga. Ja vjerujem da će ga podići.
Bravo, Rex.
Dižu ga 100%.
That might save Hive on the retreat outside the south side.
They are chasing around, and again, it feels like more of these teams driving the same way. That's a great nade, bounce off the tree, and 2-0 finds Lukarux. Nixie back onto his feet to try and post. He's 2-0 trying to post the shots of the
Dignući luku. Ovaj nema više tilti.
More grenades coming forward, though. Nixie launches forward. Beamy launches forward for the res.
Bravo, idu nodi kristalni, idu braća.
They've got to try and find an opening, but they found a confirmation at least.
Yeah, Hive unfortunately gets completely annihilated as JOGA BONITO didn't want anything from Bushido Wildcats. And now with the Storm on request boys here in the north side, they're going to have to hold off quite the torrent of aggression coming in from Virtus Pro. Nixie, as I said, he must be mad after the performances in the first couple of games. And they know that they can be
a true force. Da jebem ti život, kakav nade. Nino doktore. Kakav nade im je kroz prozorčiću bacio. I ovaj nade je sve otvorio, bukvalno.
And absolutely lighting up Hozjan.
Look at Nixie, he's just charging, he's eager to get kills. Yeah. Pushing forward, shots will come through, Crexy does some damage again, jumps out the window, should be confirmation, Stormer on Crest, where they're blown aside as the Polar Bears now find themselves on 7 kills.
Ljudi, Virtus ima 17 kilova, on nema jedan placement, i još nisu placementu. Pada se, pa je Simon, pada Nodi, pada Kristalni, evo ne valja.
Terrifying, a lot going on the other side as well, S2G getting obliterated here by Celtic.
Dajte da vidimo to, jebote
now. I mean, they were on a south side
trying to come in what was over
into some of these teams, so it was not really going to work out. Spiro finished Hakatori. I guess he might have been in the line of fire. Yeah, okay, through these smokes, I kind of understand it. Really not much that they could have done
samo Slaven živi, ako sam dobro ispratio. Kristalni je
flaša. A few points on the bottom, 4 alive on the south side. They're slowly trying to make something of this.
Yeah, again, they haven't. If you look at the kill feed, they keep having things stolen away from them. They're on 2 kills so far. They're up to 9 points, but they were refusing to let Navi go.
Neki kološ bi.
Stedo will try and find the reinforcements.
Ovo loš kol bi.
Reinforce Diffix as he should be able to see the cars rotating.
Ili nisu mogli preko Turaka proći.
Again,
vjerojatno nisu mogli preko Turaka preći, pa su onda preskočili.
Dobro, for now, as long as they keep 4 bodies up, and now they also keep the zone. It might be a good conversion for a game for them.
Mislim, svakako da, možda i nije biološko, znaš. Jer nemoguće. To je ta rupa što smo pričali prije. Nemoguće tu rupu proći sa ono kampa gdje su bili, tako da. Svakako dobar game za njih. Kad bi Slaki mogao da izvuče još koji bod, bilo bi genijalno. Vidimo senda centar, to je vrh. I ovo vidim da rade, ali vidim da rade u vas u ovim situacijama kada nemaju pritiska, znaš, kada se ne boje greške. A mislim da bi to češće trebali da rade. Sad je ljudi meta cent, kopaj na centar, što je Jo uradio.
It is match 4 out of 5 for day 1, so I suppose a last attempt.
Sad je pitanje, Slaven je prošao tik uz Batulina.
I think it's the only way really to put Team Nemesis day 1 so far as to where they stand. A win, a handful more kills, it's going to really change the leaderboard.
Yeah, if they can somehow wiggle in, they've still actually got like
čovjek je napravio više kila bomba u Vilićima. Sad problem za Virtus, ostali su bez zone, međutim 7 bodova, to je skroz okej. Nije šta će da smisle jer su skroz bez zone ostali.
Opportunity here from Virtus Pro to do something. Do they have mortar shots? Yes, they do. 120. I think it's too... I think even just the minimum range is a little too far to be able to deal with Yo. We'll see, though. It might catch Michael on the end.
I was looking who's the furthest out.
It's too far.
It is in the right distance for Michael, but they can't. They're looking for that original smoke. They're looking kind of at James and Cappy position. They don't try and find it. James does find Nix as he charges forward. Beamy a little bit further back now. Does have the information to scrap that. Beamy does go down. JS9 PWD, you cheeky devil! And it's one polar bear remains. Correxy has to charge forward. Lucky enough for them, they're looking back in towards zone. They have to fixate and focus and stop Bushido Wildcats.
That's a cross-circle knock from Melman against Yo. So you can really see how open their position is. Melman actually completely finishes him off as well. So huge knock-on effects here from Melman from all the way over the other side of this circle. James shuts down Nixie though. That's Virtus Pro really on their last legs here against Yo's spot. Man, if only they'd have had 10 more meters to their name for that mortar shot. To be able to actually completely dislodge Yo. That would have been huge for Virtus Pro. But it's like just a moment of like, just too little too late, right? They just didn't have the information on exactly where they were. And by the time Blue's pushing, you don't want to go for the reposition.
The thing is, their position at the moment is not in zone, so they have to leave. Correct? He's just going to try and wait this one out. So he's mostly got the meds to try and hold. If he gets the intel that they run, it's phase 6. You don't want to be tanking the blue. And for Team Yo, they want to close again. Another team want to close this day out pretty well. Vitality with their meds, you pick up towards the hardcover. They wait for the zone. They control it perfectly as it comes back their way, and they get underneath the noses of Team Nemesis.
Well, this is the game for sure to have the catch up on Na'Vi, right? I mean, as much as they did, 1 or 2 points on that south side, it's still a chance here for their Vitality and Twisted Minds to really catch on up. Twisted Minds, it's kind of ridiculous to have just Batulins an example of
live for as long as they were, and then only Batulins 9 kills from where they were coming in from in a salvage game. They might not have won the first finals weekend, but man, they're so good.
Yeah, it's just that, as you see, Chris does go down towards blue.
Prvi placement point za Virtus Pro u 4 meča. Mislim da je tako. Provjerit ćemo poslije, ali mislim da je ovo prvi bod u placementima u 4 meča. I mislim da imaju ukupno 17 kilova.
So they are in the placement points, and for Team Nemesis, again a team which is more of a salvation. Yo, Nemesis, and for the other side of things, Twisted Minds, Vitality, looking to challenge the top.
Gledajte koliko je Nemesis giftan, ljudi. A ono što je malo problem je što Vitality ima zonu i dodatno će pobiti Yogi. Koliko rupo iskupo Keter, jebot ovaj ga i dalje ne vidi.
Nemesis from the other side also hitting shots, and Levante shuts down everything that Bushido Wildcats was doing. So taking that ridge line that they seized on the south side of their compound is very important.
Cappy uzme kill, bro. Cappy
pushes way in. The eyesights for Team Nemesis get pushed back though. Cappy finds T-Bone. Confirmation done. PWD knows where he is. Jump shot, JS9, and takes the foxhole. Ascend will fall in 5th place as a salvation for them, but it's 4 versus 4, and then 2 dangerous solos now. And
trenutno za Jogu, pogledajte vi gdje sa Šabatolim, lik je žbunjen.
And now the rest of this lobby has to fight.
Za Jogu ne valja, više rano je zato me priča, ali i nije rano, uvijek treba. Jer Nemesis ako vina, Nemesis ako vina, preskaču ih.
And they will be keeping tabs. Even though they need to deal with the threats underneath them, they will be keeping tabs on him.
But Vitality's position is so good as well, because they're going to go underneath. If they can stop Team Nemesis going off the higher ground, Vitality are going to put a sting to this game, right?
Is it the bush?
If Battalions had a pickaxe, that would be an OP area, right? You dig down, bush on top, it's like camouflage. PWD, he definitely will have a pickaxe.
Da, zamislite još ima pickaxe. Je on?
That's how they dug into that position with Keta.
True. Yeah.
Jel on iskopao? Nije iskopao, jel tako? Ovo samo žbun leži.
Man, again, the bushes on Tego and Rondo are just built different compared to Erangel and Miramar. Question mark. Is there any bushes on Miramar? It's very barren, but there is a little bit. But I mean, the fact is that Batulins is very obscure. Oh, you can see it's a very thick shrubbery.
Još ima emergency da baci.
Everything's blooming for the penultimate game. It's definitely not blooming for PWD as the smoke does bloom in front of him, but I think everyone will take a pause and watch. Team Nemesis obviously do have to juggle coming off this high ground here. So Sadid has a look in towards the bush, but we had the X-ray. He hasn't got quite the X-ray that we have. I think he'll be waiting for a little bit of movement. The car maybe further afield gives away a little bit, but not enough.
No, indeed. If we get the chance observers and he actually looks down there again, we should turn X-ray off and show exactly what you can see pixel-wise. Admittedly, they play with different graphic settings to our pro players than what we're seeing here. But as you look just down there, I mean, you cannot see through that. It is so obscured.
He has to move, not as much as PWD playing whack-a-mole as he jumps out to try and see which way he wants to try and go towards zone. Grenade's going out to try and find himself a new Foxhole, but he makes the run on the blue. He takes the damage, and it's going to be for Team Nemesis that will get the final blow. Kill free read is going to be important. These teams will know there's a solo, and that solo is not just anyone, it's Batulins.
Yeah, I mean, if the fights go very aggressive, and everyone gets knocked at the same time, there's a world where he does even something more from this. Because nobody's paying attention to it at all. This is a huge Sunset going crazy. On the There's no way! Sunset's going absolutely radio rental.
He's got nuke, the discipline not to repeat out that car. He's been able to go and dislodge Team Vitality, exposed, and he's just found 10 kills. A salvation game so far from Team Nemesis.
Oh my god. And this is why we said at the beginning of the day that Nemesis here has crazy potential coming out from this. They'll check the bush when they're finished with Vitality. Both of these teams playing from the pillar in the end get themselves top 3. As So said now, looking for the lurk, realizing where that last remaining player is, stayed on the off angle as well. Batulins, he's going to try and go for a kill and a flush as soon as Vitality's gone.
Yeah, I think he's ready for the kill feed. I think you're right. He's tracking what he wants to do. He knows that he wants to eke out not just the one, but the second. There it goes. Now we should see him activate. There goes the activation. Now he finds one, and it's one and done. Team Nemesis will spin their shoe. It comes from 15th place, all the way flying up, though. 13 kills, 23-point game. And it was the gods from Nemesis was able to underpin our Team Vitality.
Nemesis reacted so fast at the end, I don't think he got the flush, by the way. Like, they knew, okay, well, there's nowhere else he's going to be. It's that bush as soon as they hear the shots. That is wild stuff. What a game coming in from Nemesis here. Let's bring Avenger back in to talk about our Rondo, because it felt quite a formulaic Rondo here, Avenger, considering what we had available to us. And Nemesis is back on the road again.
Yeah, they are. What a great game to get onto Rondo here. And yeah, what a way for Nemesis to maintain control of that. I actually didn't expect them to kind of maintain that high ground control, but the way this circle worked out was just perfect for them. And they held on to that ridge side, and the amount of kills they got from there was insane. But wow, what a clutch from Batulins, man. That second place. Yeah, he didn't get the confirmation on the knock there, so no flush, but still second place, 6 points is a big way to salvage.
I do find what would be an interesting question mark would be to, you know, I mean, you can't really predict exactly where everything's going to go. You can make your best guess, but for Vitality, they had the high ground. They technically had where Nemesis played in from and decided, well, we're going to go north. We're going to try and control the north side of this circle, right? So I wonder what they will be thinking. Like, should we have stayed? Shouldn't we have stayed? What's your thought?
Look, for me, they're on the high ground, and you know, we spoke about it, that we see the high ground play away. Yes, we've had a few times that it comes back this way, but they didn't want to take the risk. They wanted to keep the pressure on the top of the leaderboard. So that push towards the north, I think, was the right play. That push down to the south, though, James, I think was even better because they held the ridge line, and you could see they were trying to keep Team Nemesis at base. They wrapped round, but it wasn't enough. So disciplined, got in the car. He didn't over peak here, and obviously was able to expose Team Vitality at the very end.
It's 23 points going the way of Team Nemesis. Vitality gets themselves 11. What's important here, though, Avenger, as well, is that Twisted Minds, I feel like this is their third second points gain in a game out of 4 games. They are just constantly, never-endingly here and present.
Yeah, they're so consistent. It's actually crazy. 2 third places and a second here in this one. The consistency is just crazy. That was only in Miramar they had a bad game, but otherwise they're here off consistency. 3 out of 4 podiums so far, and this one could have maybe been a little bit more.
It really keeps things nice and open with Navi going down early in this game, and you can see as the tail of the tables is going to be able to tell us that Twisted Mind still second. Team Vitality moves with 38 points, and Nemesis a ginormous leap mark here after that game.
That's just 10 points, 10 places for them. They started in 15th, now they're in 5th. And again, you mentioned it, Navi going down early, that's going to really allow these teams to kind of close the gap. We don't want a team running away with it, right? And obviously, for Team Nemesis, they didn't want to let go. They were eager to find the kill points, whether it was Navi or not. They refused on that east side. They chased them down,
bilo bi idealno da Joga danas bude top 3. Baš bi bilo idealno. Ovo je 14 pojena razlike.
Points and Twisted Minds able to catch up.
Biće benosti za to.
A little bit of movement going on there from Vital. So sad, almost 900 damage done here for Nemesis. Stayed was the one up on the pillar there.
Placement points 1, 17 kilova. Ljudi, 17 kilova.
Kilovima su 4. To get 3 knocks was the way that they won that game. That was just insane.
Aj rečemo 5 jako.
It should have been allowed, like, but the way that he kind of moved the cover that he had, and those guys were completely open on the ridge with no cover, so it's easy 3 pickings for him, and yeah, easy game to win, but they had no idea that even though they looked a few chances,
game,
like,
ili JOGA ili VIRTUS,
he's gotta be somewhere, and then the shots come from the bush and Batulin strike. Sure, he got 5 kills, but that second place was the biggest clutch.
Yes, it was. Let's take a look at our team focus for this one. Looks like old Navi here,
a short one
from Neox Factory. Yeah, it's they didn't really get much from this, all things considered here, Mark. But this is highlight worthy alone. A 700-meter mortar.
Ali ovaj nok, ljudi, I noka ga, I flasha ga.
Then it was just a barrage that followed. It was just perfect.
Jesse Seha, Jogi više treba nego VP.
Trying to take every fight they could, but constantly chasing the zone. Good amounts of util from them, able to clear out the cars. And then this was the bit that Nemesis didn't want to let them go.
Ali mi ćemo se zadovoljiti.
Trying to use the train to their advantage. They're trying to get underneath Nemesis.
Ja, znaš problem
maybe Vitality to take aggression on towards them, but it was going to be the case. As I said, Nemesis needed the points and needed to climb the leaderboard, and they've done it in this game.
Kad su upale PUBG zvuči igra jel ima software? Ako si instalirao software, obriši software. Pusti bez softvera.
It's really hard to react to the long range mortars because it's not even coming from above you. It's coming from a ridiculous
ne software, nego ako imaš zvučnu kartu njihovu imaš, skinny, evo poslije se da vidiš.
Really well placed by him, but I'm actually a little bit surprised they only got 1 kill out of they had the 2 knocks on the PGG guys, they had the 1 mortar knock, right? Feels like a little bit of steals could have come their way, but yeah, people are aware when Navi's out there killing, they're gonna be looking, because usually the kills and the knocks are far away, and maybe there's some potential steals to come their way. So, but yeah, what a way to have a, let's say, home turf circle, just because it's close to where they're looting, obviously. But still, they had to go so far, and the rat kind of behind Nemesis just didn't work out.
Well, let's listen in on some of the team comms here for Rondo and see how all of these teams approach an interesting
Skini ovaj equalizer i napravi equalizer ovako. Neće, trebalo bi da ti fiksa. Znači, unutar tog videa naćeš dio gdje je equalizer i to skini.
Лево. Поехали.
Пускай дают.
Сверху зацел, что просто станет.
Справа уезжает тачка.
Хае дает, еще хае.
Выезжают. Два типа. Дайте хае туда.
Один берешь просто.
Да, вот видишь, они форсируют уже пиздец.
Я сейчас бы...
Лежи до конца, забей.
Один у тебя внизу, один у тебя в спине.
Бля, там 3 нокка.
Нокну еще нок. Еще нок.
Пинок. Батулин под нами, дефикс.
Да, Батулин под вами. Ресет.
Хились.
Да есть ноки.
Сейчас не могу.
Можешь виталити пережить.
Да, надо пережать виталити. Нельзя.
Если он убивает, то инста нокает топи.
Если верх скажем, когда. Убивай.
Надо сейчас.
Блять, топи!
Сука.
Блядь, ты пасуха. Сука, блядь, Батульян. Не озакел.
Я не спешу.
Убил.
И Батулин где-то. Пацаны, вот тут.
Убить.
Да он в меня в кусте, блядь.
Убил.
Nice.
Есть, не доел.
Nice.
Хорош, мужчины, хорош.
Interesting to hear. And even though you don't know Russian, that you can hear enough to know what's being said, right? He's saying that Batulin's and Twisted Minds guys are saying everybody is gone apart from one, which will be an insta-knock into kill. So as soon as that happens, Mark, you got to strike. But they couldn't even get the confirmation. It was too hard.
That he tried it as well with the reaction. I love the comms on both sides. He was he couldn't quite get it. Yeah, GG's in the end. But yeah, you don't quite understand Russian myself, but as you say, it's enough to understand that they're kill feed reading, they're understanding what's happening, and they're ready to react really quickly.
Yeah. There's moments where, especially because we are so CIS dominated, Martin, I really do wish I did know more, actually, because getting the insights and stuff like that, it casts my mind back to when Batulins was interviewed and Navi had changed to all the young guns, and they were like, they've listened to all our comms, they've copied our game completely, and it was working out for them, right? So like, there's clearly some nuggets of great information in there. Unfortunately, we just can't decipher them all.
Yeah, for sure. There's so much gold to be dug out there, especially if you know the language, obviously. But still, even listening, you can hear the intensity. You can hear the intent with what they're trying to do. As we see, two rivals here, Soset and Levante. It's been looking really good. I noticed, though, and I gotta say, Fairest had more damage done so far in the 4 games we've had than Hagatari. That's a huge up for Fairest.
Yeah, that is massive. And let's get to it then. It's our final game of the day. It's been a great day so far.
Ljudi, treba nam dobar game Joge I Virtus.
Not a game 6, game 5, please, for the rest of these teams. Unless Mark, you know what?
Ili ako previše tražim oba tima, onda dosta jem. Pa nek se dogovori. Jogi treba više, ali zadovoljit ćemo se I Virtus da vidimo.
It is going to be game 6, game 5 antics. It always is. They never let us down. It might start a little bit slower, but there are teams that want to close out this day actually with a very strong points, and there are the other side of the teams like Navi that might want to put an extension on. And the only way to go and do that is get as many kills as you can.
They would be looking for it, especially up against construction workers, right? Maybe they could hire them to put the extension on for what's going on. They're right next to one another, so unfortunately for construction workers, they've not been able to do much more than do a little bit of building here and there. And then, as I say, everyone comes and tears it down. It has been a bit rough. Now, where is our circle going to go? 5 seconds. Not military, please. Don't do it.
Oppa, andale, yoga zona.
Team Vitality, home turf.
Yoga zona.
Again, they've been aggressive when they've been chasing people, but now they're going to find zone. So interesting to see actually maybe if they hold out that kind of prison area for other teams.
Ajmo dečaci.
Still more requests. PTG up on that kind of East Bridge. When do they come over? Nemesis on that north side.
Gledaj
down around the
a ne kristalni kvalitet kamera, bato Tetris su snima, Tetris su snima. Ali bolji Tetris nego Simon što nema kameru. A gledajte njemu, lik šerpom snima, 100%, šerp. Nokia 3310 baći kamera.
You can't be too predictable. That said, though, right, where Sosed is on kind of no lean, and then that could be an easy transition path for them, and then just kind of be a bit more tight on your rotation compared to wide. We'll see. We'll see down the line. But for now, good old no slack. It's not really been the greatest of days for them to start things off. I think that the weight of a lobby like this comes in at you hard sometimes, right? And as much as you could have had some great days in the past, and I think that still, individually, I think there's some really awesome talent on this roster
kako dođeš u posjed ovako loše kamere?
All together, day to day to day to day.
Znači, kamera ste mua, $10. Kaki $10? Ne znam, $5. Kamera ste mua, vrh. Gdje on nađe ovako lošu kameru? Ja ne znam. Znači, kako doći do ovako loše kamere? Nije mi jasno. Bukvalno teže kupiti.
That's huge. We're seeing this kind of era of IGLs that are big hitters as well as making these critical calls and controlling the team and controlling the comms. So how things are played out is changing this year.
Yeah, it is. Things are getting different. Things are getting, I would say more competitive this year.
Ode Lazar.
Wait, whoa. We flipped it.
Ouch.
What was that little observer wiggle?
The powers of the observer put the card down.
It's crazy. Okay, hit it. Oh, I want to see if it flipped. It's fine. We're over at prison.
I felt a bit for STG though, like
it worked. No, wait, what?
It's just not got going. Just not getting. Gave them some criticism on that sort of qualifiers, and they came out swinging. With the squad as it is, right? Lazar was playing at that point, so I don't think they found their play style at the moment with this style of lobby, especially in the finals, and especially over that Turkish region. It's normally quite aggressive plays, or they will go for a center compound. So are they trying to reinvent what actually works for them? I'm not quite sure.
Well, I will say for the Turkish region, obviously S2G was the direct invite for PGS 1 and 2. I guess specifically because S2G, the organization, very big in PUBG Mobile. They were previous world champions in PUBG Mobile for people that didn't know. And then they came in with this roster. They're very well known in Turkey as a whole. However, I will say, or I believe, what we've seen so far from our PEC, and unfortunately not a very great performance from S2G and PGS's 1, 2, and 3. I think Bushido Wildcats got upstaged them a little bit. In our PEC.
Ako krene fight, Luka ih ima sljeđi.
To weeks. I think they just looked better as the Turkish team coming out when S2G should, in theory, as the one that was invited straight to the PGSs, should be the one to look the best out of the region, right? But that's not been the case here.
No, I can't argue. I can't argue with you. It seems to be a fight for the best Turkish team, right? The fight for the West Bridges VP might be using Martin's headphones to lure in a team for a wider rotation, as they are praying to go that way. Storm Request would be that team, as they might be looking towards the east and have a understand that actually PG might be waiting there, but we know because we've got the map feed that they have moved on already.
And actually, just to put a button on that as well, like obviously S2G is also going to our next circuit, right? They're also invited to that for PGS. And I think that they're going to have to do some big work between now and then. And it's not long. It's really not long before we get the PGS weeks, 4, 5, and about like 10 days or something like that, I think. So it's they need to do some big work.
I just think it's game style. I generally do.
You think so?
I don't think they feel like they know what they want to play. We know before historically, we know they used to send to center zone. They used to take compound. They used to hold it. They then became quite an aggressive team. I feel like with the change to TPP, they've not figured out how they want to play. I'd argue to say a center zone, hard cover with the red zones, with the grenade and structural terrain will play in their favor. I'm just surprised that we're not seeing them be a bit more aggressive and take hard cover.
Well, you're in the best region to practice for something like it. That's for sure. The competition here is fierce. Fairest has been extremely fierce all through the day, as Martin said it himself, out-damaging Hakatori. Fairest here. Just fantastic stuff. I mean, I think that even on previous rosters that Fairest has been on, right, we were very impressed by his abilities on those. He just wasn't surrounded by, you know, titans and prodigies like he is now on Na'Vi. So sometimes it's hard to actually, like, shine when you're alongside Hakatori and Boostic. But he has, and that's awesome.
Yes, he has. Have to wait and see. He should close out this day. I do lean into this. Is everyone else now chasing Na'Vi? Well, we know there's a couple of teams up there that want to say no. And even down to the Nemesis, a good finish here with a handful of kills will put you on top. And that's a massive confidence boost, though, coming off the back of a day number 1 with 10 games left to play.
Yup.
There
is still a lot of time, a lot of room. At least nobody's running away with it quite like Virtus Pro was in our first final so far. There they are, coming in slow and steady on this south side. I think that, of course, 18 points for them here across the day is not the best of things, but we've seen that they can quite easily just come out and then suddenly say, well, you know what, we'll have a 70-point day. Like that. And then, you know, they're right back up there, so...
It's the danger. That is the danger. Hive rotating their way in. They've got free space in front of them now. Obviously, the closest team is going to be that Twisted Minds location that we saw before. Let's start with they're pushing over towards that petrol garage. No slack. Obviously, coming over towards that top. So again, lots of movement. VP disengaged from the west bridge. Stormer Request goes towards the east. So again, lots of teams going for more of a centralized spot.
I think Ascend is set up in such a way. Again, I said it last time around.
Nemesis.
I said where they knew that they were going to be coming along here eventually, if it does happen. They're already shaking shots north. They know a team's up there, and they know who it is because they know these rotation paths. It's one of, unfortunately, in these eastern circles, one of the most predictable paths that a team is going to take. So maybe they can take that fight. We'll see if the circle does shift in their favor.
When you get muscle memory, especially for like early rotation, like it's very consistent, and obviously we're lucky enough that we get to watch a lot of this as well, so we'll pick out the trends. These guys have teams behind them, analysts that be doing the same. So if you're a team that's fighting for the top of the leaderboard, you can get an early knock, especially a team that's chasing you down. No wonder why. We've seen it from Ascend before. We know they like to try and close teams out, chase teams down, because they constantly think about the leaderboard. So I think you're 100% right. Nemesis, though, they need to have a couple of other tricks up their sleeve, like when they know teams will be around them. They also need to understand that people are predictable, and they should be expecting a team ahead of them, like a team Ascend.
Yep. Especially since Ascend is one of the teams that has the best opportunity to set this up, right? Because they're dropping north of this. But that changes things completely. And Ascend is straight in their cars.
Dobar shift i za
so is a
jogu.
lot of those teams on the eastern side.
I Sakara mogu sažuti kuća da igraju fino.
In inverted commas,
samo da ode i kristalne da spoje.
Transition that they would have done if the circle had gone more east. So now
VP je
they're going
brutalan
to be ducking in probably above Yasnaya, or maybe even going all the way around to the west side and trying to use one of those bridges to duck on in. But this means that a lot of teams are now trying to congregate.
Kristalni je ostao, igraće 2-2.
Middle positions here.
Nam udar, što bi se reklo.
Vard might have just got away with it.
Sviđa mi se, I like.
A couple of damage, but he gets put back into his bunker. Big shot as the STG actually taking centralized zones. They have taken that spot now. Here comes the crash. A lot of teams got the
fake najlup ide život.
But it doesn't quite convert. Oh, he nearly gets a safety and Stormer Request have reinforcements, but so do X-How.
Yes, they do. See what they can do here. Odin Movesi able to get them here in the last day of the playoffs.
We just made a way with us.
Getting the res off by the look of things. The problem is, as long as this goes... What? Hello?
Death from above! I wanted to get down to the ground. That's the only way to do it as quick as he could, though. Storm Request, unfortunately, receiving huge amounts of damage. Just taking it back on, has to back away. Smoke will come out, but it's going to allow also get those reses back on. One good place grenade will find potentially free. Hits the car, gets a double re-knock.
Here goes an edge all the way through onto the wall here, but still, I think Storm Request
šta uradi, brat, sa gliderom, ubi sve.
Count! It does quite a bit of damage, but doesn't get the confirm. Oh, that was a very important nail. Oh, the car! I forgot completely about the car!
Oh my god.
They completely forgot as
Evo
well.
Virtus, a third party.
GG's. At least X
Quite
Albert
nego
gets good
Virtus,
at
bro.
VP. You come crawling in. We spoke earlier about there's been lack of fair parties. Well, Virtus Pro just arrived. They throw the blue zone straight into the smoke. Quite don't get the re-knock, but it's now forced the guys to kind of scatter like ants. And Corexi has got huge amounts of information right in front of him.
Yeah, ever the opportunists.
No
right?
more
Get in there. They know
Malo
they're
isto
completely
lovo,
wounded at the
Corexi.
moment.
Malo ga isto lovo.
Odin again, man.
Oh,
he
baby.
is making magic happen. He is down though. That's more than posted on through. You can't deal with that much aggression with Virtus Pro after you're trying to scramble for the recovery. Oh my days. I will say though, fantastic stuff by Odin. Like, to be able to get them the points that he did there when it was looking dire, that was so important, but there was no way you were
Nadao
going to
sam
hold
se na
this off.
sekundi da imaju, da će sve uspjeti da uzmu, ali dobro.
Bomba. Back out onto it. Good play. Obviously for Nixie and Beamy, applying the pressure, Beamy with the grenade, and obviously Nixie to follow. And re-smoke, we'll be able to get the res back on. The zone obviously shifted back towards that west, so for Team Yo.
Ne kontam čemu parašut na ovoj zoni. Imaju bukvalno free rotaciju autima. Zašta? Znači, bukvalno free rotacija, gledajte ljudi, bukvalno free rotacija gdje god. Šta će ti parašut? Šta će s parašutom? Bukvalno imaju free rotaciju. Bukvalno, mogu djoći. Bukvalno mogu djoći, imaju kroz centar free rotaciju.
They actually pick up themselves. I think that they do have technical options. I think what they
vidimo šta će da smisle, možda imaju neki play.
They're eyeing up right now is Kratos on the south side of Yasnaya Fields. We'll see, because of course they have an opportunity to be able to read the circle.
Mislim, okej, nije sporno da će da prežive, jel? Nije sporno i da stignu u šumu, recimo, ali opet igraju bez auta. Mnogo je bolje ovdje autom doći.
A Navi location, but it might be kind of dicey here.
Here comes the junkyard.
Joga nam je malo unlucky, braćo, nisu dobili taj shift.
Crazy bit that's a little bit west of VP, south of Vitality, in the dip. No one's there at the moment, and all the cars are going to send it that way.
Okay.
Get the panzers, here we go.
Yes, you have some experience with the tempo dip being a bit heavy, I think it's fair to say. At the same time, though, Quizzy hitting really nice shots alongside the team here, and also Yo just taking massive casualties. Unfortunately, like the whole lobby is shooting at them, trying to drop in here.
Yeah.
They're gone.
As they went as quickly as they went up into the air, Yo went out, 14th place for them. It's not a bad day though. It's not a bad day for them. Their mid-pack is giving them a great foundation to kind of leapfrog away. They just need to go break down these next 10 games. Hive trying to break down the soil, so they will dig themselves a little bit more of a trench here in the cars rotating their way around. And for PDG, it's up on the north side here. It's JOGA BONITO. They go head to head in open terrain.
Yes, they do. Noddy trying to charge up an aid. Seeing what you can get done here. As it goes for the wide around. Still comes
bravo,
into the building as well.
Bravo,
complete clean up. PGG out. Bit of a disaster day for them. I think that they're capable of more than 14 overall. I do think with that E pickup mark, if the circle had shifted north, technically they would have had more opportunity to get down because there was just
Oni
less
mogu
teams
slave
in the
nadarivaju,
north.
jesna
But when it
jebote.
shifts south and there's already so
I
many
mislim
teams
da je
around that
motorom krenuo da
area,
ga rivaju.
it really feels just too late. Like it's already quite late in proceedings anyway. Never mind the idea that you're going into the
otišao je slave, otišao je motorom.
This was alluding to, which is the
Otišao je
problem.
motorom.
Yeah.
Pixel, you know he's looking for those diamond pickaxes.
Slaki pao, ali idu ga
that he spoke about
rivajva.
the other week.
You reckon he'll find him?
Maybe. I think it's coming. Naleb's helping.
Oh, Nail's
Gdje nam je Jo, je li Jo preživio? Jo umro. Šta sam rekao ljudi? Jo, s parašutom. Kakav brain dead play. I to od Jamesa, da ne očekuješ takvu stvar. Čovjekom koji ima toliko iskustva na ovu zonu, bre, jebote ti ideš s parašutom. Bože dragi, bukvalno brain dead play.
I think he's even going to reload more.
Znaš, ono bio sam malo suzdržan, jer sam bio iz fazona, nema šanse da ovakvu glupost rade, sigurno zna nešto što ja ne vidim.
Technically,
one of a very
strong dip as well is actually Vitality's, right? It's kind of
Bože,
like the little brother of the dip that Virtus Pro is currently in over at Tempo Dip. And it works really well, especially with all of the extra things that were added
Sad će
to the
Slaki
game.
da se vrati ljudi za 7 sekundi, ako su uspjeli da ga uvati, no, a jesu uspjeli.
The thing that was always kind of
Sad
helping it
Slaki da
out.
dođe.
Circle
I daje
shifts,
nam
where
jedan
are we
shift
gonna go?
onda.
We're going to the dips.
Jebate.
South.
Znate šta je problem s
Okay,
ovim zonama za
construction
Jogu
workers,
Bonito?
this is an
Problem
important game
za
for you
Jogu
to get
Bonito
some
s ovim
points on
zonama
board.
je
It's not
taj
been the
šta
best of
oni
days.
imaju taj edge play style,
11. They're in
za njih
40th
je svijet
place.
crno-bijeli
Couple of points here.
i onda
in
oni
this
ili
game
pobiju
will
sve na tom
send
među
them up
ili
before the start.
izginu svaki
Team
fight.
Vitality don't need to move the
I
center,
onda
they need
su
to
ovi
move, they need to catch
shiftovi
this team in
problem
most
za njih
rotation
zato
part, for
što
example.
igra
Trying
imaju
to
taj
just
play
do
style
that,
ono
looking for the tide, doesn't quite get it.
confident
And I suppose
da mogu
for
da
me,
se
actually,
fajtaju sa
those
svakim
watches that
što
were
je
coming out from
skroz okej, ali
our no stack team, that was all to preempt
problem
that next move.
postoji
So
na
good
ovim
play for
zonama.
them. They weren't looking for the team, they
A
were
ja
looking
bi
for the
volio da su
position.
malo ono hibridniji tim. Kad su ovakve zone da ga sendaju, bre. Da se ne muči, jer stvarno ono naš, nije lako fajtati taj edge.
But he was on it and then he fell off of it.
Iako oni mogu to, ja.
Anyway,
Mislim da bi mnogo više koristili da ga sendaju i onda da se raspucaju sa te
Still on
pozicije.
lockdown here. I think also, again, for these kind of positions, not only digging your holes,
Mislim, okej, ti potencijalno sa edge-a imaš veći kill game, jel? Potencijal, ali treba pobiti sve to. I obično kad igraš edge, tebi je dovoljno da vinaš jedan fight, pa da ti se otvori ispred sebe sve, ali treba vinati jedan fight. To su stvari, ono.
Unless Pixel's just gonna
Oni mogu to, ali
dig and try and write something in the floor because he's got a lot of time.
I would not put it past him.
Exactly.
Teško, samo je
It's
teško.
a very pixely thing to do.
Oh my god, 100%.
Sad se fajte gore s
he's
Turcima,
doing
1 za
that,
1,
he's
2 za
I think
1,
he's going to
Chris
dig a line to
doktore.
catch any cars rotating over.
Ajmo,
I
Kiki,
think
ajmo,
he's looking for a
Kiki.
car to flip.
Maybe.
Because he's going to go back to his little foxhole by the tree and hope and pray that
Rastavljaju
those
Turke na
cars
proste
shift
činioce,
his way.
braćo.
Because that is also a very pixel thing to do. The
Jel ovo
guy
LAN?
who put boats
Nije,
inside,
nije
the
online,
guy
jel?
put the bicycles to go against the door as well.
Treba nam top
He's
3 da
always
budu da
been
bi
a
otišli
creative
na
player with the
EVC.
new updates.
I think he's still digging. I think he's going to be digging this entire game.
Ma
But
tako
anyway,
je, bre,
Crossbow
Nodi
goes
izbaci
down.
ga.
Oh, he's going to be digging his grave in a moment if Nodi has anything to say about it.
I sad moraju da vine još
From around
jedan
that
fight.
corner at the moment, 5 kills
Znate,
for
ljudi
Joe
imaju
Bonito.
toliko
In
potencijala,
6th place, they've done all right
ali
for
ovo
themselves,
što
you know.
rade je
The
preteško
first
samo.
final here for PEC as they're looking for the chase down here against
Ajmo,
Vedebe.
dečki,
He is
ajmo,
tucking
dečki.
tail and leaving,
Možete vi
trying to
to.
go for the seat swap a little bit as well to stave them
Ajmo,
off.
bre,
Any
Kristali,
pressure,
koliko
but
ima?
Cristiano
78
here,
kill Kristali.
who's been working his bum off this week in the pubs.
Ala,
Good
igraju,
stuff by
braćo.
him.
Gets finds an opening mortar.
Pa da Nodi,
As the neighbours
Simon
are not as
vraća,
friendly as they used
sad
to
se
be.
fajtaju s Virtusom, ono
Sutton
ne
is
gledam.
down. They haven't found anything else.
Ovo
I think
zaš
they're
muriš
just
kad
getting
se
a bit of
desi.
guesstimation. I know it's
Friendly fire.
rotated in there. They know there is the opportunity to find more, but all they've done is produce more cover for and no slack.
Slaveni Kristal živi, bre. Ono, Predator potential u svakome. Tamo što sam rekao lik isfailu. Ajmo Kristali, sam, ajmo Kik, ajmo Kik, možeš ti to baće. Pa jebi ga, nema.
They do lose Simon, he's completely gone, Samson's gone. Okay, never mind, I thought
Bra,
it was
bra,
going to go a
9
bit
kila
better
su
for them.
uzeli,
But 9
pohaksali
kills,
lobby.
nothing to sniff at. 4th place right now, but Virtus Pro is on the war
Žao
path
mi je, žao
right
mi je,
now.
ovo je.
7 kills to their name, they're kind of wounded though. If they're going to be still
Mislim da oni
involved in a
malo
bit of a
promijene
fight
play
over
style,
here,
ono, da
I
bi
think
bili
it's done
prvi,
for them. I
da
don't
bi
know if they're going to
prskalo
be able to
se.
escape
Baš malo
Vitality.
samo
They
da
should put the
ubace
nail
ovaj.
in the coffin.
Ovaj send kad im pobjede, da iskoriste ovo
Damage goes
potencijal na
back to
maks.
safety spray comes through. The
Predobri
splash
su.
is finish, and it is Virtus Pro. It feels like it's kills,
Ode nam je
kills,
Virtus.
and at the end they get
Otišao
stolen
nam obje
away.
ekipe, pobiše se
Especially when
između
it
sebe
comes down to
krute.
the
evo.
placement. So Pixel still digging as that front line trench for construction workers might be finished now, and they have at least a path from north to south.
They know they've got to shut down Hive at the moment. I wonder if we can get a check-in on Trench Watch if things do calm down a little bit. I don't know if they will at the moment here. Mogor is down. Oh, yeah, he's got to abandon the trench. He still had his pickaxe in hand. Now he's got to get the gun out. Got to shut down Hive here. As losing Nail up at this point is problematic.
Go on, Pixel. We know we need to see a pickaxe kill.
All right, calm down.
A bukvalno ako iko napravi pick and skill bit će Pixel.
He's beating out. Vars needs to think about the cross to try and get that array. As Mogor obviously just trying to wait it out as well. As has a bit of a trench warfare. Ascend on the north side though. Have to keep an eye as IXE and the team look to encroach over. S2G does do that as they do find Scav for no slack, and they do get the confirmation as well. So again, more teams kind of pushing
Slučajno
down
palim
from
štima,
that
vidim
north
Nodi
side.
se
So
igra
Hive got a
PUBG
bit of a
5
juggle. They have to keep
Wow.
our construction workers at bay, but they have to keep this migration from the north.
Manje više sve sto isti igrač.
Mogor still taking a bit of cover here against Pixley. It's a good molly forwards just in case he's on that. And actually it did catch him. So he's going to have to back off and heal a little bit. Still oh, wait. No, the mortar killed him completely. Hello? Oh, knocked him completely, I should say.
Pixel knocked As he does back up. Twisted Minds now looking to sort of push this way. As they want to get involved, that car's going to go. So Perfectix goes and gets whatever he left in that vehicle because it was critical before it blew up. Whee! There's one go by. The trenches that come through. The P90 from Sheila, though.
Nice.
Turns around, causes the damage. And for no slack, though, it was a good hold, but it wasn't a hold for long. 9th place, and we now enter into the placement points.
It's rough considering that they were in the conversation of trying to take some of the top spots and maybe moving on to some of the lands there for no slack. So they're really going to have to change gears in the next couple of days if they want to keep those dreams alive. Senga now does drop a few more smokes here, keeping himself cordoned off against what is going to be some aggression here from Twisted Minds. And again, we've said it many times here today, Twisted Minds is inevitable. They've been able to get themselves so many points despite no win on the board. And now another perfect nade here against Rocks. This is the problem. They will be pinpoint accurate after pulling the pins from these nades. Another one. It never ends.
Yeah, again, they're in these dips as well. So if they can get it in and around the area,
with a player
like Perfectix, it's a confirmation every single time. Perfectix, though, does work his way back. Level 3 vest, level 3 helmet. Smoke will go out to try and deny the opportunity. Batul is making the call that Team Nemesis, though, is sweeping their way around on the southwest side.
Twisted prvi pasio. Jel vidite vi bilo koju drugu opciju Dikovina osim Twistedova? Ja ne vidim. Kako su rašireni. Eventualno Vitality. Ali oni su dolje neđu. Ako priđu ovdje, bukvalno.
I don't know how they're going to survive some of the aggression that's going to be coming their way, because I think S2G as well could quite easily push on the fact that that knock has happened at the moment. Schiller does peek on over. Perfectix is shooting and throwing nades at everything. Okay.
Ascender have to rely on the nosy neighbours being Twisted Mind to keep them alive. I can't see them getting that res.
Yes.
The Skilly Kite launches the grenade forward. Ketado is going to bleed out and he has to try and get the information. Now comes the final grasp. And for Keta, though, he gets put on top. They use the car like Tetris to try and get the knock on Kiliakai. And Lou watches and thanks for the cover that's being produced.
Yeah, like
gets one.
On it. Yeah, I didn't see the second one thrown though. Very nice there by Kiliakai. Trying to save the position of Ascend, right? Who's in 5th place, 32 points, nothing to sniff at as well. But I don't think they're getting much more from this game at all. The one saving grace is the fact that Lou's a bit hard to reinforce and actually get up off of this rest here for the second. Oh, and Schiller and Baron really put everything to bed here for Ascend. I think the S2G
znači, koliko meni ove plave zone nerealno izgledaju. Toliko mi ne idu uz PUBG. Ja bi to izbacio. Znači, sad da sam CEO PUBG-a, odmah bi blue zone izbacio.
This is a climb. This is a climb. They had the compound and now they can play from the compound. It's that mid-game. They let the seed pass by, the tide go out, and now they can control. They have to try and take on that Twisted Minds.
Čemu te blue zone?
It does go back towards that sort of north side and they will try and hold. Twisted Minds won't want to try and push. They had to get rid of that Ascend in the middle. Construction workers still laying the foundations for a game that they want to try and climb the leaderboard. He's entrenched. Baron Peak does find an opening on Batooling, so that might give him an opportunity, maybe a temptation, should we say, for S2G to push their way around.
Ja ti napadni njega sad.
I think if Twisted Minds gets rid of S2G, there is so much room for Twisted Minds, and that becomes a bit of a problem. Everybody on the south side is going to end up fighting. Na'Vi, big and important team, #1 at the moment. Vitality, kind of 2-2 split at the moment with an anchor point across the road. That's very important for the eventual transition that needs to come. And I think Na'Vi realizes that, actually. I think that they're watching for that eventual transition, knowing that that will be a very important fight, even though there's so many teams near them on that the northwest position from them.
So the northwest position. Na'Vi, monkey on... But again, holding that south side. I wonder how much of the trenches they're aware of just in front of him. Nemesis, the same question goes for them, where they've got the ridge they can play. Ferris though wraps his way around, and Hell of My Bad does get him just before he gets towards the smoke. And well, for Akatori, he hits the anchors, he hits the brake. He's going to push some smoke out. It's going to try and deny the line of sight here for Team Vitality. On the other side of things, S2G get to watch and sit back and wait and pray there's some knocks coming their way.
Yeah, the move Ferris made makes me think that they had limited information on the anchor point that Vitality had across the road, but now they are being punished for it a little bit. And that said, though, Vitality is also going to be taking some damage here. Akatori and the boys throwing some nades forwards. That car almost caught him there for a second. Spiro, though, does connect with another nade. This second wood could be the big follow-up he needs. Oh, and another one. That's getting hello. Oh, my God, he survives. Thank God he's lying down, just negating a bit of that damage there, Mark.
Has negated the damage at the moment though. Na'Vi down to the final two players. Hakatori, the final one up here, and Team Vitality crossing over and crossing the opportunity out. Those will strike the final blow as they want to ensure Na'Vi's out so they can climb the leaderboard.
S2G wrapping on around. Let's see what they can do. Lazar and Schiller trying to come in on the back of this fight, but the fact is, it remains that Vitality still has 3 barrels that are going to be looking his way. He's also taking damage to the blue. That's actually going to hinder their potential push on this, but a nice start from Schiller here. If you're going to give a P90 to anyone on this team, it's Schiller. Give him it. He is accurate. He is deadly, but he's so low on health. If anybody sees him from the high ground, he's done.
Yeah, but to say the smoke should draw the attention as well. Gets the opportunity to get 2 out. Now he should be able to get the med back on. How much did he have left in that P90? I don't think he had a lot. Let's be careful. Hazard, that coach, the 4th player now, the sub-in, has the position, sees Twisted Minds as they rotate their way in. Don't get the spray, doesn't quite get the connection. Example, though, peeks his head on through. Has to be careful because he's juggling multiple teams now in this position.
Still an opportunity, still more points on the board here to try and rack on up. SKS not doing too bad for Schiller. Again, 4 are his. They're making a big push here for this. After the knocks came down from Vitality, it's the perfect time to move. All through the smoke, he sees the Levante on the distance here. I thought he might be on that foldable shield there for a second. Ducks back into the car for a bit more cover. MG3 versus this. And Batulin's on the other side, really shutting things down. Schiller takes down Hella My Bad. And this is going to be way more points for S2G. It's such an important game.
Schiller has the ammo as well. He's got an opportunity. So he's okay. He denies the information being gained, pushes Levante to the outside. Now has got the zone. Nemesis, though, has negated, I suppose, all those trenches on the west. And for our construction workers, they've been pushed to retreat back over towards this east side. So again, we can see Bardo just sort of neighbouring here. So kind of 3 dangerous solos on the east. And the big powerhouses that is Twisted Minds and Nemesis remain on the west.
When does Twisted Minds take number 1? It's on the way, ominously, here for the rest of the teams, for the rest of the lobby. Schengen kind of hunkered down. And Twisted Minds are going to be right on top of him in just a second. Bard, though, gone here for construction workers. Only the 2 kills go their way, as well as placement. Schengen gone. Twisted Minds in number 1 now. Vitality here jumps Na'Vi into 2nd place, considering Na'Vi had a 30-point game. The fact that 2 teams have been able to move above them is eye-watering.
This is huge. This is huge. 22 points SCG.
Joga je uzela, pogledajte bodove, Joga je trenutno uzela najviše bodova što se...
They have to try and deal the damage. There's one, so SD finds Levante, the MG hits, it hits pretty hard.
Najviše kilova.
It's not going to be enough, the P90 hits
Dok se ne završi sada ovo.
It hits 1, it hits 2, and it's going to be Team Nemesis potentially falling down, the final player, and a potential gift here for day number 1.
S2G otvorio put
Twistedu. They set their sails, and they're closing out these teams.
Schiller, what a performance from him in this game. 750 damage, admittedly with a P90, it makes it a little bit easier, but you still got to hit your shots. As for now, Nemesis, I think it's just so said, right? With the MG, with the M249. Schiller's gone. Twisted Minds knows exactly what they have to do now. So said, I don't think you're getting a triple this time around. It's gone. It's Twisted Minds. Back to number 1 here, Mark, for a PEC.
They needed it. They needed
Vitality prekucao danas ljudi, stvarno Vitality prekucao danas, Ascend dobar, Nemesis dobar,
we said about that. Martin is that STG needed to find those placements. They found the centralized zone.
Joga odlično odigrala, pokidali dečki.
Yeah, what a game for Schiller.
Ali ovo, ljudi, jeste li vidjeli ovo, ubio lik. Ubio ekipu svoju s ovim potez.
And they're able to grab this first place here. But what a fight,
especially this fight and this
clutch for Odin Mavesi to get this one rolling out. But so many smart and great third parties has really been the story for today. What a way for people to scout and get information on teams that are vulnerable and to drive by and to pull up on them has been such a story today.
Yeah, 100%. If you're paying attention to how every team is kind of moving around one another, maybe just setting up little kind of spots for one another, understanding how
intervju, moramo da vidimo.
Seeing if they can actually exploit some of those moves as well. PEC is the mother lode for those kind of plays. as we take a look at
Da li
how
ovo
all of this
ide
actually
intervju?
went down. I was really hoping, Mark, that construction workers will be able to get a little bit more from this spot, but I think that their attention was divided quite a lot in some of these moments, right? Like understanding that there's some really strong teams around them that are having to pay attention
Joj,
to it.
možda bi ugasio stream da nisi rekao jeventi. Zaboravio sam potpuno da postoji šansa da budete na intervju.
Yeah, they're keeping everyone at bay, aren't they? But it's actually
Ko drži intervju? Kontam nodi ti. Kontam ti,
and
ne
then it
znam
comes
zašto.
down to which is the one they can maximise, and that's what we see. Look at even this point here, Twisted Minds are starting to charge their way down. They know exactly where to go. So when they see the kill feed lighting up, it's well done. So it's just a strategy game for them, just kind of knocking one team off at a time, and then eventually it's actually let's close it out. And as Martin says, that level of consistency that Twisted Minds are able to produce is huge.
You used my trigger word, a strategy game, yes. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. That's what
Pogledajte
PUBG
Virtus.
is to me, my friend. That's what it
bez
is to me.
placementa.
19
Braća odlučila
points
killovima da
off
vinaju
Twisted
turnir.
Minds, but S2G,
Ima
15
sad samo
much
takva je
needed
tablica.
points. As you say, Martin, I think really mostly off the back of
Dobre,
shot. I
brać,
know
to je
that it takes a
bukvalno
team
sve
effort to be
to
able to
tu.
get you to that spot, but giving the P90 to Schiller, yes please, more of that.
Dobro.
Yeah, Shida made a name of himself.
15 poena.
Made a name of himself for PNC. That move, that
Mislim,
way that he played
ako je išta dobro, dobro je što se jure ove ekipe koje su ono i Navi Vitality, Navi je vino, šta je Navi vino, PGS2 bješ, ali ih nije bilo ni 1 ni 3, pa ih nije bilo, mislim nije bilo ono, znaš, nisu konstantne ekipe, može se desiti da sutra baš failaju.
Absolutely redonkulous there from Twisted Minds.
Vidjet ćemo,
That
sutra
will
će biti
position them here at
zanimljivo.
number 1. Team Nemesis, man, what a move up, right, Mark? Considering that they were
Ko je po tebi
really
najbolji
down
igrač
towards the
trenutno?
bottom in some of these games, and then Sosa decides, you know what, M249 is a cool gun, and then decided to
Ono,
use it
overall,
today.
na svijetu, kao šta, ili u Evropi, ili gdje, ne znam šta je pitiš.
So for them to come
Gledaj
back and
kristalnu
climb those
sliku, brate,
leaderboards
iz
is again
četvrtog
a bit of a
osnovni.
save. I was hoping we weren't going to see them close out the finals and leave it to the last day and kind of do that massive explosive ending. So good to see them kind of enter into the top spot. But as you can see from the game, actually it was all about S2G. It was the last game, and it was that shift there which was key for me. S2G found the centralized compound, and then they were able to play their game from there.
A very important one, and also an important one for Vitality to position them safely on that podium position as well, as they took some strong dips and were able to take some pretty decent fights. I even liked the 2-2 later on in the game, Martin, across the road to use that as the potential to be able to eventually move across. I think that was important, but unfortunately they got embroiled in just too many fights.
Ja ću ići s Nixijem.
Yeah, I mean, the way that especially the East, with how the road forces you up to be
možda je ono naš bold,
there can just only be one team left alive there, but somehow
možda je malo i navijački,
Vitality managed to stay alive, but it was all due to all the nades making so big craters that they could survive. Also saw like a few times where there was like 3 or 4 layers of craters from nades that Vitality was able to survive and again, but the way that S2G moved smartly in from the northern side to kind of take control of those northeast was really the reason why Shilla was able to shine.
To malo više jer
Yep, very impressive stuff.
Ne znam.
Unfortunately for Levante there. Not much more you can do from that crate.
Ne znam jesam li objektivan.
Everybody's looking your way.
Ali
a tough one there, Mark,
ako pričamo ono GOAT, ne naravno, ima još on dosta da igra. Ali što se forme tiče trenutno, od kad je TPP krenuo, što da ne.
Terrible, but this is, I think this is where Vitality should be with the caliber of players that they've got on their board.
Yeah, again, adding to your point, it was a last attempt for them, right? They kind of waited to the end to sort of climb those leaderboards. So yeah, 7th.
Iskreno ću vam reći, razmišljao sam se između Nixija i Hakatorija i Exampla. Ono Exampla, zašto je all time ono, ja bih ga uvijek u toj konverzaciji. Hakatori, ono, ne možeš da ga izbjegneš. Ali Nix ima bolje rezultate trenutno i onda sam išao s Nixi. Eto, tako je išlo tok razmišljanja. Sad koliko je tu subjektivnog, ne znam.
Бля, вот тут трупы лежат. Посмотрите, вот тут.
Может быть, там вместе надо.
Просто дропом. Инста.
Найс. Тоник и твисты фулка.
Не, у меня упор еще. Блядь, он за машиной.
Что за бред ебаный?
Передо мной. Хуярит. В тачках где-то.
Я бегу просто.
Я флешды.
Хай.
Давай.
Boostik Baby Hakatori. Da. Boostik ima baš potencijala, ali trenutno je ono...
Убил. Не имеет слаз.
Trenutno je overrated, iskreno. Ne pokazuje potencijala. Team all time.
Nice.
A ne, znate šta, ja nikad ne pikam Kineze. Ne zato što sam neki rasista ili nešto tako, nego jednostavno, ono, smatram da nisu bolji od naših igrača. Tako da, za IGL-a bi stavio Sašu Batulina, ono tu bukvalno nema mjesta konverzaciji. On pa svi ostali. Da, 10. mjesto. Saša Batulin, Uba, Hakatori Example. Eto, to bi bio tim. Sad ono, ne znam, da imam 10 miliona evra i da mogu da kupim bilo koji tim. Mislim, da pa timam je dosta 200.000. Ili još možda manje čak. Ali, to bi stavio. Uba, Example, Hakatori.
Crazy guys. But we do have our interview ready with one of our big performers here from today.
On all time.
We've got Noddy coming in from JOGA BONITO. Hello, Noddy. How are you doing?
Nije vrtlen, stvarno... You?
Not too bad. Fantastic. We enjoyed watching your games. They was cool stuff. So, my first question, Noddy, is obviously you guys missed the first final. Coming into this final, how did the team prepare to be able to perform this well?
I mean, we always look to play our game. We are obviously aiming for top 3, so we can play. So we can have a chance to qualify for LANs. We are a bit disappointed about last playoffs, but it is what it is.
That's fair. It's a tough region, I think is fair to say. Mark, do you have a question?
Yeah, let me just carry on with that actually, because I want to probe a little bit more, Noddy. You're a team that's very well known for aggression, especially for kills. So, like, for the next couple of days, like, what is the plan for JOGA BONITO? What are you guys going to go away tonight and do a bit of research on to come back tomorrow?
Nothing, as I said, just play our game, fight as much as possible, have fun, and that's it.
I love it, mate. Yeah, keep up the level of aggression. You guys love the kills. You always seem to be chasing them down.
Avenger?
Yeah, Congress are doing well here today, Noddy. And I want to ask a little bit about kind of prior to this, because you guys have had a shadow ban, you could say, in the scrims for playing your way, but in the cups you then proved yourself in saying, you know what, you can actually roll with the big guys. How did that affect you guys, and how have you taken your aggression into the finals here? Talk to us a bit about the kind of insights on the team, maybe.
I mean, we was frustrated, obviously, because of our ban on scrims. We couldn't practice for 3 months. But yeah, I don't know, we just play our game, just fight as much as possible first phases, because people don't feel comfortable fighting, and when they don't feel comfortable they do mistakes, and yeah, that's it.
I, for one, think it's awesome that you proved the doubters wrong, I suppose, when it came to that. So well done to you, and well done to the team. Any final words or shout-outs you want to give, Noddy, before we let you go?
I don't know, just thanks everyone for watching, our fans from Balkan. And that's it. Shout out to my teammates for carrying me. And that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Noddy, and well done today. Good luck tomorrow if you can make a big move up the leaderboards. Good luck, my friend.
Thank you very much. See you.
Bravo, Noddy, svaka čast, battle intervju, predobro.
Right, that was
Iskreno
Noddy here
predobro.
from JOGA BONITO joining us, and thank you very much to him, of course.
Ali ova braća se klikaju glavom, sve se smiju nešto mrtav ozbiljno iz fazona glava ih retarda.
Obviously, English is not their first language, so it's always awesome for them to join when we request them, right, Martin? It's great.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to some of these guys. They give us their insights and Even though they're not comfortable in speaking, not that well.
A pogledajte koja je razlika.
It's awesome to hear with a shout
Ja
out,
bi iskreno
especially to
volio da
Balkan
oni
here,
malo
Germany that
stanu
has
sa ovim
huge
fajtovima.
support from
Znam
the
ja da
Balkan
to
region,
izlaženje
so it's
njihovog
cool, especially
kalupa,
now that they
ono,
they
jebi
have
ga. To je ono stvarno što primjećujem da bi mogli
Really
rad
good result
bolje.
from them so far, and you guys at home can have a
28
good
kila,
result as well.
pogledaj
If you
tri
go on
koji
a
je
little bit
frak
of the
potencijal sa
scavenger
6
hunt, get
placement
yourself some
pojena, nema
potential G coin
zajebava.
on board. You have to finish the
Ma
code.
dosta
Some
od
of the
5
rest of that
mečeva
code will be
jednom,
over
samo
on
jednom, eto, za
social
moju
media.
dušu jednom da ga
It
sendaju,
tucks
ja
away,
garantujem
for you to be
da
able
bil
to
tu,
find and get yourself some G
garantujem, evo,
coin
životu.
done and done.
I heard
can you
Da
hit-
malo sebi život
what did you
olakšaju.
I heard the code is at PUBG Esports on X.com.
Da, ljudi, ja ne
No
mogu
way.
slušati više. Ja
Ah,
stvarno
it's
više
crazy,
ljudi ne
right?
mogu
The
slušati.
future
Znači,
hearing
stvarno sam se popio.
continues. That is amazing stuff.
Sutra
Of course
gledam
for the
opet
headphones,
jogu i
here.
VIRTUS.
But a good day one, I think, is fair to say,
Pogledajte.
Mark, and hopefully day 2 and 3 follow it on up. It doesn't surprise me at all that Twisted Minds has been able to come back strong.
potencijal.
It is the most consistent thing in the entirety of our region. That this team is excellent wall to wall.
Yeah, that is a confidence
Oh,
boost,
nisam
not just for
nikad
our
vidio.
region, but
Oni
actually
nas
potentially going
skrimuju, nema.
for those PGSs in a couple of weeks. PGC points they are looking strong.
Nie
They're
wiem,
obviously
ty
invited
zjebać.
for Esports World Cup, but finishing up day number
To
1,
je
I
ovo.
think it's just a nice reminder to the rest of the teams a lot. But actually, hold
Mislim,
on, let's not
kontat,
forget about us.
1-8
This is
ima
not about
smisla,
Virtus
1-24,
players, it's not about these
ono.
new teams
What
coming
the
up.
fuck?
We're still the big dogs in the EMEA
Ovo
region.
ime 24 sa
I think
16.
you hit the nail on the head, especially with PGSs, Martin. I think, yes, we're looking at the
Ja.
PGC points, and they're
Ljudi,
very important.
odo.
But I
Gledamo
am
se
of the
Tomorrowland.
opinion,
Pozdrav.
I mean,
Ili
EMEA
večeras
has
ako
already
bude
won
nekog
2 of the
rankeda.
3 PGSs
No,
this
guys.
year. I think we take
Ne
the
mogu da
majority.
slušam. Koliko lagano je. Koliko je ovo dobro za uši. Laka noć.
How to earn money playing PUBG. Go to ewave.gg and create your account by typing in your email and password. Check your inbox to verify your email. Next step is to connect your game account by typing in your in-game nick. That's it. Just play ranked. Win some, lose some. We count it all. Check your standings on ladder, compete and earn. Analyze your replays and track your improvements. Only on